Hey everybody, recording a podcast, video style. That's Eber, and I'm Kevin, also known as K-Dog, and we're going to talk about some shit. The date is March 31st. Don't be static there, Eber. You got to really say some things.
I'm just tripping out. You said March 31st. I finally landed. It's like stuck
I
in my
know, right? Yeah, the year 2020 here in coronavirus, we're figuring things out. We're doing, what is it, a podcast on Zoom.
podcast on Zoom with a laptop and a couple of phones.
Fuck, it is a weird setup. And it took us a while to get there. 52 minutes plus 30.
Sure.
Yeah, because I mean, literally, we stopped and then we went again, and then this is another 52 minutes.
Yeah,
So
pretty much my brain. Since I figure, we're on lockdown. My brain's on lockdown too. I'm not gonna hit.
I know it's hard to keep your brain occupied. You be watching TV and doing things, but you're really not really thinking, you know. And it's when you do conversation that it creates a, I don't know, like you're sharpening your fangs, and then the art of the world of communication.
It's weird. I mean, the last hour and 22 minutes that we've spent trying to set this up, probably the most that I've talked to anybody in the past 2 weeks.
It's so true. Like I'm usually having short conversations or day-to-day routine conversations, but nothing to the extent of how to get something to work. In fact, I was getting a little stressed. My brain was like, it's the most I've ever done, during this lockdown, mentally, I should say. Even playing a video game, it's not like I'm really working my brain.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Witcher. I just discovered it, so.
No, I know. But I mean, like, you're not working your brain, Like this right here was hard. Because obviously, I mean, it took us an hour and 30 minutes or some shit like that. And then even Zoom was like, you know what? Give these guys a pass.
It looks like they're trying really hard.
It's like they were watching the video the whole time, laughing and stroking it. I love Trump.
Hey, something came out in the news today that some kind of privacy violation or something.
With Zoom? I believe it. I mean, Zoom was such a small company, and then the coronavirus comes out, and everybody has to use it because it's free. It's like the first thing they found.
And I guess some people are hijacking it too, and they're hijacking into feeds.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
Probably jacking to other people's feeds.
Ugh, can you imagine? Like, who's having those kind of conversations? Oh, I guess, yeah. No, I guess, yeah. You be on the Twitter, meet me on Zoom, and you can see my nipple or something. Yeah, no, that's a thing. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Cable guy, but no, like showing feet porn and stuff. Like the foot. You're like, oh, and then people are just whacking off to it.
Oh, I missed it. Do it again. Do it again.
Oh no. Messed up my thing. So, okay, so usually with these podcasts, I'll do some news or whatever like that. But since it's a one-on-one convo, I wanted to get into some, not politics, but like some fun things. Like, did you watch Red Son? Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
Let's go over it.
I liked it a lot. Me and Adrian were arguing about it.
Yeah, you were, because Adrian's right.
You think so? Okay,
well,
so
he goes too hard in the paint, as in the purist, but he had one point that, like, there's what I have going on, like things I didn't like, but like if you're gonna break the story down, it's like taking the ring of golden of the Lord of the Rings, and you just like, have that in the movie or the trilogy. You ain't even talking about the rings, because the whole, you know what I'm talking about, right? The crux of Red Son is the fact that they're all related. Lex Luthor, spoiler.
They should not have taken that out. They should not have taken that out. They should
That's
have left
the whole
that
thing.
in. That's the whole kicker at the end. It's almost like the M. Night Shyamalan twist.
I was about to say that, yeah.
And it's a really big payoff. And yes, Adrian made a great point.
Just that. I mean, he had other points. He had other points
because he kind of hates himself. He's challenged by himself because it is him.
Well, there's that, but the greater point is, if like this is why socialism doesn't work. If you just let people do what they want to do, they become this great people. And the only reason why he goes back in time really is because there's nothing left to conquer. To the point, you know what I mean? They go in the afterlife.
It wasn't socialism; it's communism that they're practicing.
But they say socialist. They say it's socialism, communism. It's like relatively.
Communism would be like extreme socialism. So communism is they're just taking all resources, pooling them, and then the government is deciding, how fairly to redistribute that. But that's taking everything from everybody. Nothing is yours. All resources belong to the government at all times.
Okay.
So there's really no sense of personal property. Socialism.
Okay, two things. One, he does call himself socialistic because it is a branch. And yes, he does say communism. That's the thing. You're right. You're getting confused in the weeds. Like you could say democratic and you could say a democratic republic.
Right.
But you're good at any way to say Democrat.
We're in a socialist society anyway, so I mean, yeah, you're right. There's no point mincing right now.
Because of the checks.
They should have left that whole circle. And spoiler alert, right? If you guys haven't seen a Red Sun, stop now.
I know, right? Yeah. Superman Red Sun. We're talking about. We're gonna spoil it. Fuck you if you haven't figured that out.
Well, we haven't touched many details yet, but I mean, at the end of the book, you have this whole fast forwarding where you find out that Lex Luthor is really like the great ancestor of Kal-El Superman.
Yeah, Luth L. Kal-El.
Yes. Now, what was cool about the book, it totally when the twist started coming, I thought I was smart, right? And I thought, now he's gonna land in the Midwest. No, he lands right back in Russia at the end of the book.
Yeah.
So I thought that was clever too. Mm-hmm. That really did make it an Elseworld Superman.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
They should have left the whole thing. They should have left that part in there. I thought that was cool.
They did. They should have. I don't know why they didn't do that, because it wouldn't have affected the story that they kind of took liberties and shifted things around, which I'm okay with actually. But it works, and they could have still added it. And they shifted the focus more onto Superman, which I guess as opposed to Lex Luthor, because in the comic it's really split down the middle.
There's a lot of Luthor. Yeah.
Yeah, and that they create that villain, the one who counters the hero, and they just grow together, and you get to see that. But they didn't do that at all. They just Superman and him fighting some shit.
Yeah, it wasn't as strong, but I mean, I still liked it. I liked it as to accompany the book. You really can't get the full Red Sun experience unless you read the book first and then watch the movie. It's almost like Full Metal Alchemist. I'm glad I watched it in the order that I did. The old series,
the first one, series, and then Brotherhood.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
If you watch it the other way around, there's really nothing to gain. The second one does it really good, but if you watch it in that other order, it's like, wow, you're reliving all these moments, and you kind of know what's happening, and there's that tension, which they still did really good in Brotherhood. But then there's a lot more gaps kind of filled in too.
Well, yeah, they flesh out the characters more.
Yeah.
They're clearly defined in that level.
In the Red Sun animated movie, it was interesting to see the characters and hear them, and then kind of hear the director's take on it, and then see the tweaks in the story too. I like that they moved that underground gulag, which wasn't a thing in the books.
I know, I agree. It centerized the main plight, yes. And it created a call to action for Superman.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't really do that. He Stalin dies, and he's trying to fix him, and and then I don't know. He's just, I'm going to help everybody. It just works better when you create a character to focus in on and then grow from there. And I thought that was a cool fucking thing.
Yes.
And the added part that I liked that they changed was they made it that Batman's there. You didn't hear our fucking screams. That was perfect.
I like that too. Because and then he took him back there, because that was the site of his trauma. Took him back to the site of his trauma.
In the comic, it's just a random gulag.
it's like, this is where you took my innocence. This is where I'm going to take your country and your power.
He didn't really take his innocence because he saved him. It was more of like, why didn't you do it sooner? So Batman becomes more of a lesser person. Like, he's petty in that
But
respect.
Superman was always around. They built that bunker after Superman had already come out. That's why it was lit.
It's built, yeah.
So Superman was already a thing when they put those people underground.
Yeah.
So again, the fact that he either ignored it or didn't notice it or wasn't looking at it, that pissed Bruce Wayne of it off. I don't know.
You know what? When you put it that way, it makes me rethink the whole. See, okay, so that guy's not really Batman because he's supposed to be super smart. Super smart then leads to him. Well, there's no way he would have found out because it's lead. And like his main gripe didn't really make sense too. Like when they're fighting, he was like, what did he say? It just didn't. This is your future. This is what you've done. And I was like, it seems pretty fucking good. I don't know why he's pissed.
It was his own personal pain.
It was, but that's okay. It doesn't make sense. Like in the comic, it makes more sense because Superman's like already changing people's brains and shit, and he's taken over, and he's already given people like 8 hours of work, a fucking hobby. They have
in
to
the book. In the book, I got more of a V for Vendetta vibe from Batman.
Yes. But in this, it made him petty, and like he's trying to make a point that doesn't work. But in the comic it works. But in this one, I like the trajectory, but they use the character Batman, so it's kind of like, I don't know. I'm kind of torn by that.
I think in the writing they could have fixed that. There maybe it got cut out.
It could be. Yeah, you're right though. The writing could have been fleshed out where Batman seems more like because Batman felt like Batman in the comic, and it just so happens, through circumstance, and he goes, it doesn't fucking matter. I will always be a symbol, always against oppression. It doesn't matter where I come from. I'm this. And I was like, I get that. But in the movie, he's just a vindictive brat who's throwing empty speeches, and it was like I didn't feel the gravitas of that. And I get it. I get why they had to do that because it's a short movie. They had to add all these other things.
Right.
So I mean, I'm good with that.
I feel like I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was really good as a companion piece, but does it capture all of the book? And I usually don't like those people that say, well, the book is better, the book did it better.
I agree with you. I hate that too. Because the movie is better. Like, movies are usually better than the book. People like to complain and things like that, but like, I mean, here's a book that I'm reading with words, and then here's a visual and audio, and you can't beat that. I mean, how do we go backwards? That's like saying like written word is better than stone, or stone tablets are better than written word. Like, no, dummy, paper's better. So
I don't know, Kev. Stone tablets, they'll hold their writing longer.
Well, shit, man. Maybe 3 weeks from now we might be on stone tablets. For the end of the world.
Shit. We might be on stone toilet paper.
Shit, yeah.
I didn't like that. Stalin was killed by Superman.
Yeah, and it was too aggressive, like from the beginning. It was they got impatient, and they wrote that just to do it, and it doesn't mesh well with that character. Like I could see Superman doing that maybe after many things, but him getting to this, okay, if there was maybe child rape at the Gulag, and he just came from that, then he was like, "Fucking, you're going down," and then he lasers them, but I can't see him getting to that step.
Or if Stalin was like killed or died suddenly, and then he found out about the gulags.
You mean in the comic?
No. Like I feel like that's what they should have done in the movie. I feel like
somebody killing him.
Yeah, instead of him killing him, because again, Superman at his core is still Superman. He still believes that what he's doing is right, but he still believes that killing is wrong.
He wouldn't have been who he was at the end with the, whole, bottling the earth. That wouldn't have worked if he was a ruthless murderer. You know what I mean? At the end where, he sees the letter. Well,
right.
I mean, that wouldn't, like him, saving the earth, and or I don't know, man. It wouldn't have worked if he was a violent murderer. But for some reason, he's a violent murderer, and he makes this 180 shift back to being a good guy at the very end. I don't.
Yeah,
That was bad. That was sloppy. These are some sloppy critiques.
The ending was sloppy too. The way that they rolled out I liked it. It was more powerful in the book when he gives them the note that says, "Why don't you put the whole world in a bottle?"
Yeah, and that's another gripe. They more emphasis on Superman versus Lex Luthor, and that's why you have that letter instead of him for Lois Lane having the fucking what is it, Kandar?
That just opens up all kinds of questions. How did they get it?
Yeah.
It just opens up all kinds of questions. How did they sneak into the USSR, get that shit out of there without Superman knowing about it?
Yeah, well, they explained it away. He's always 12 steps ahead of you. I could accept that. I know. It's weak. They rushed a lot of things. Huh?
Lex Luthor's always 12 steps ahead of Superman?
That's what she says. That is what she says.
Yeah, I mean, I'll believe that, but then again, Luthor would know to sidestep. I don't know. There's no explanation for it. Him knowing about it is one thing, but then actually having the goddamn city in their hands is something else.
Yeah, I mean that's such a leap, right? It's like fucking boom, I got the fucking thing. It's like I have your heart right here, Superman. See, that's that's how far ahead I am.
Underneath this damn pillow, and he wouldn't have known.
Yeah, that's yeah. Well, I mean, but I mean, all in all, it's a good movie. However, do you think, here's the big question, if I've never read the comic and I watch this fucking movie, and I'm a fan of, I guess, comic book movies or whatever, would I like this movie? Not a fan of the comic, I'm watching this movie. I mean, not that's not what I meant. I meant I have never read the comic, watching the movie.
It's the same reason why a lot of people liked The Last Jedi. Because they didn't have all of that other connections to previous Star Wars stuff. So if The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, if that was your introduction to Star Wars, you enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it depends on where your fandom is of Superman. Even there's fans of Superman that haven't read Red Sun, right?
Of course. No, you're right. No, you're right. There's so many comics out there. Like, can you imagine everybody reading Red Sun? I mean, yeah, but no, it's an Elseworld. Not everybody knows all the Elseworlds. And Superman's pretty famous. So is Batman, and he's got thousands of Elseworlds. And we're not talking about. We're nerds. There's not a conversation between you, me, and Adrian or Wedo that we're talking about. Hey, yeah, what about this Batman Elseworlds where he's a ninja or some shit like that? That's not a conversation. But all of us talk about Kingdom Come. We talk about Red Sun. I mean, we talk about, and then we talk about those Elseworlds. I wonder why. But I mean, this Red Sun's not. I don't know. I don't think everyone's watching this.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people watching this. But I have yet to watch. Which one is it? The Gotham something by Gaslight.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
Adrian loved it.
Supposedly got great reviews.
A lot. Red Sun did.
I don't know. I like Red Sun. I like the action in it a lot. I actually did like that they expanded the Green Lantern fight. I mean, I really like OP Superman in the books, but I like seeing them fight it out. That was okay. Okay. Getting punched punching Wonder Woman and then her stopping it.
That's my biggest gripe. She's in a weakened state, and she punches him, and he's shocked by how strong she is. And I'm like, at that point, that does not happen.
Okay, so here's the problem. That jives with what regular Superman would do. Because regular Superman, he never goes full power on people. The one time that he explains it too, when he's fighting the Elite. When he fights the Elite, he tells was it
The mind
Manchester Black.
yeah.
Manchester Black. He tells him, hey, you know what? I never go full power on people. You know, I'm always holding back. And he had to do the same thing with Doomsday. Fighting Doomsday, he never went full power until he had to, and then finally he just unleashed everything. That was the only way he could stop Doomsday. So and then Diana is a friend, so I don't think he would strike her, you know, in a way like to prevent his own death. I think he just hit her like just enough to get her back, and was surprised that, oh shit. And you see the same thing like in the Justice League movie, when he wakes up and he goes crazy, and he hits her, and then she headbutts him, and then he's just like, oh, and then he gives her like a mega headbutt. Remember that scene?
You went all over the place with different iterations of Superman. Just to strengthen your point.
Because
let's just focus on the movie at hand.
Well, because all those other iterations of Superman make the same point, that he doesn't go full power unless he absolutely
It makes the point that you wanted to make, but that's not the point. The point is, in this movie, you have a guy who lasered down Stalin. That's not him going full strength. That's him lasering a fucking human being. You got this guy who is fucking ruthless, and he makes the fucking decision. You know what? Get the fuck out of my way. If you're not with me, you're against me. You know, with that whole logic. You know?
Yeah. When he lasers Stalin in half, he does it just enough to laser Stalin. If he doesn't do it to blast the whole mansion that he's in,
he got the job done though, didn't he? I'm pretty confident if Stalin was like, and he stops the laser. You know,
then he turned it up.
Then he would, yeah, right?
Hit him harder.
So Superman punches this fucking lady because he makes this weird decision where I'm gonna beat up my lesbian friend, and he punches her, and she stops it, and he's like, this for some reason bothers him or stops him, but he doesn't keep going because if Stalin, the guy he liked, he lasers this fucking guy, and Stalin's like, no man could laser me, or whatever the fuck, whatever she said, but Stalin says it. He would have kept. You're right. He would have turned it up. He would have fucking blasted this dude, no matter what. So when he goes to punch fucking Alpha Woman, and she stops it, this shit would have kept going. I mean, it doesn't. The buck doesn't stop there.
He's attacking his friends in those for two different reasons though. With Stalin,
shit, he really likes Stalin. Murderer.
He's taking away people's freedom and stuff. He did, but then he kind of realizes this guy is killing people, and I'm not going to stand for that.
His connection to Stalin is way more, and because they turned it into she's a lesbian bestie, his connection to Stalin is stronger than to her. They're not that connected in that respect. I mean, they're friends at best, but not like best friends will do anything for each other.
There's a bunch
not like Stalin.
You never get into Superman's head enough to know what he's thinking after he moves to hit her.
That's bad writing.
It could be a bunch of things. It could be, like, shit, here I am, I'm doing this again. This time I have the opportunity to take it back. I could have hit her.
We don't have that, but what we have is what we have, and from that, it's stupid. And I agree with you. Yeah, you can make points. You can say, yeah, Justice League this,
it's whatever.
Elseworld this, Kingdom Come that. You can add whatever thing to support your argument and so forth. And I could go with you on this and argue other points like, oh, what about this Superman? That? I don't want to. I want to focus just on the movie, and the movie gives you this. And you're right. One quick blurb of I wasn't going full strength, or fucking something like that, or I wasn't doing this. I respect you. I loved you. Something, anything, really.
Yeah, so you don't have to know the whole lore. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And if they see, and that's a crucial mistake on their end to go fucking woke like they did. If they kept it like in the comic, they're like kind of like in love, it would have been more profound. So you can have your woke moment. And this is the problem with this woke fucking thing. They don't think ahead like this. They just like kind of go with whatever, just to not only am I my own woman and we're friends for some reason and I'm a lesbian, I'm also stronger than you. So we're going to have everything. They overpowered her,
I don't think she's stronger than him. But I like
I agree, but that's what they present.
Yeah, I don't think they meant to present that.
I know, because they never fleshed it out.
They never give us a real fight because they're too scared to answer the question.
Oh, they
They
don't
want
want to answer that question. You know
they
damn well when you read the comic book, you don't need to
they
answer that question.
they were trying to stay woke, especially since she kept talking about like men, ruining the world and all that stuff. And I was just like, oh, man, they're beating us over the head with this.
Yeah,
Um,
they took it to that level. It makes sense for Wonder Woman to kind of say that, but you really were just saying that for like us, because like, okay, for instance, when Superman comes out and he goes, "Who are you?" Like in the comic, it's cool. It's like a moment in time where it will be talked about in all universes, where Clark or Superman is seeing Lois Lane, and there's something there. He knows it because he could hear her heartbeat, whatever, and that's beautiful, by the way. And it's taken away. Okay, so Superman's there, and Wonder Woman. Superman's talking about something. We could all be, peaceful and blah blah. Then she turns it into a woman thing, and women too. And like I was like, why? But why? But they created an interview between the two, and that was cool. That
the
didn't
interview,
exist in the comic.
the interview was okay.
Yeah, it was cool because you get to see some kind of a debate in what is it, ideologies, and
Yeah,
I thought that was cool.
that was cool. But I did like the moment that they had in the comic book. That was
Of course, yeah, because he's holding the globe,
the David Planet. Yeah,
and he could have stopped
he
it
looks
and
over.
ended it. So what?
He looks over like
No, but not
he
only
knows
that,
him.
he chose the most awesomest way to stop it because he could have done anything. He could have blown it away, but he chose the most exciting thing to do. And I thought that was cool, shows to his ego. And he's holding it up, and that's something he chose to do. And through his choice, he's looking at her and, and then he gives that beautiful line about, 1,000 years we're going to be talking about this shit or whatever. I thought that was cool. They took that away, but they turned it into a woke moment again. So a lot of these little woke moments really just bothered me.
Yeah, I like what they did in the book because it made Superman seem more like a jerk. It hurt more because Wonder Woman in the book saves him by breaking her lasso.
He betrayed her trust.
And then he kind of just like forgets about it.
And then it's also a thing. It's written. She was never the same afterwards. Because he's the narrator.
Yeah.
Of the story. Because he's the narrator at the very end. Because he lives that
Right.
long. But yeah, she never recovers. She's always the same. So she's all fucking weakened and shit. But they turned it into, not only am I weak, I'm weaker. Yeah. Not only am I weak and I'm weaker and my hair turned white, doesn't stop me. Yeah, bitch.
Yeah, I think it would have put Superman in a poorer light so that you start moving away from him. In the book, there's more Breaking Bad-ness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where you're with them, but you're like, how long am I going to be with this character before I decide to not be with them anymore?
Yeah, they kind of cruelly show it. Like, this is what he does, this is what Lex does, boom. But
right.
in the cartoon, they're in your face about it. Superman, good guy, Lex Luthor, bad guy. Because Bizarro Superman, that was even wrong. So like
I liked Bizarro Superman.
fight.
I didn't like how mean Lex Luthor was.
Yes.
About
yes.
It put him in a bad light that he was like, just turn it up, and it wasn't that. It was supposed to be Lex's sincere attempt to create the US's own Superman. Just like when we developed the nuke, then the Russians developed the nuke. But in reverse. The Russians had their Superman, we're gonna have our Superman.
But our nuke was eviler. So that's, shot at America. Because it was weird, too, because, like, in the comic, once again, I draw from the comic, and, I really don't mind little story changes, but they really, when they do this, they really lose the spirit of what the comic was trying to prevent. So why are you even calling it Red Sun Superman? Might as well call it something else. Call it the Karate Kid, and they do Kung Fu. But, I mean, Bizarro, okay, they see the fucking missile, a missile, and Bizarro, and he goes, he knew it and I know it, and we only had a split second of he's narrating, he goes, we only had a split second to make this decision, and he made it faster. I got goosebumps just thinking about it. Bizarro made the choice. He freezes Superman, and then he goes and saves the world. even a clone who's fucked up has so much good in him that he was able to not only sacrifice himself, he saves the world. He gives a world to Superman, you know, because he knows he's fucked up. He can't do it as good as this guy. He is powerful, and stronger, and faster.
That's what I would have liked to have seen. What they did in the movie, starting with, you know, the healthy looking one, I guess, if you want to say it. Yeah. And then him like pushing himself, you know, and as he's fighting, deforming, you know, and then seeing what he
they're
becomes.
making it so he deforms himself.
No, it should have been that he pushed himself too hard.
Okay,
you know?
I'm with that. That would have worked.
And, you know, like he pushed himself too hard, like kept psyching himself up, you know, like Super Saiyan, you know, just keep trying to psych.
I'm with it. Yeah.
And then he starts breaking down and shit because he's pushing himself too hard. Then the missile comes, you know. Then he makes the decision. I wanted to see that because, yeah, that totally. The fact that he acted a hair faster than Superman started saying something about Superman.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I like, okay, I straight off while you're talking, I was thinking to myself, this is such a good podcast. And I'm thinking I'm like, I wonder if it's recording.
Right?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident it's recording you. I'm like, is it recording me, you know? But like, I'm not mute on this thing.
We'll edit it in post. You just voice over all the things that I just said.
Oh yeah, that's the move.
You're right.
I'm gonna have to hope on faith that I'm not fucked on this, you know. Yeah, I know. I agree with everything you said about the Bizarro Superman, and I wish they have done that, but they just did their own thing. I don't know, man. It feels like they read the comic with a very clinical way of reading a comic book. Like, these are the beats that happen, and this is how we're gonna change the story. But they didn't really feel it. Kind of like
there was some things they did better. The whole changing of the gulag thing, you know,
that was good.
In there. That was cool.
Good. But that's narrative wise. They really missed a lot of the heart of the fucking thing, and they turned it too political.
Yeah, like, and it wasn't that they cut him out; it was that they changed it. So, like the Bizarro thing, it's not like they cut out the whole episode of Bizarro; they changed it.
Well, they lost the substance of it. It's kind of like it's like fake meat. You know, it's there, but it's not really there. Like I said, like whoever made this was not a fan of this comic. They just took the comic, which is funny because it's famous for the fans who love Superman, and they took it and they're like, oh, we'll make a fucking movie out of it. And they read it and like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. They didn't feel that shit, you know.
Well, I feel like enough of it was there to where I enjoyed it. I mean, it was fun to watch. The voice acting was pretty good. The action was really good.
Of course. Like, there was some action scenes that weren't in the comic that was in this, especially with the Bizarro fight and Lex Luthor and Superman teaming up and fighting. Because that's not how it went. They didn't fight. You know, it was more of a Lex Luthor was just in the fucking thing. I knew this was going to happen, you know. But whatever. Yeah. You know, but I like that. It was better. But
after watching The Return of Superman, after, you know, the Death and Return, the two parts, after watching The Return of Superman, this was like way better because it stayed closer to the source material.
Yeah.
And whatever changes, you know, some were good, some were not so good.
Well, the Death of Superman, the Death of Superman and the Return, those are good comics for their time, but they don't hold up. Like, if you go to read them again, they're just not that great.
Dude, I don't know. I think they missed the chance to do something with Green Lantern because Green Lantern was kind of big at the end of Return of Superman.
Okay.
Because he shows up to fight against Mogul, and that was the other thing. They bring in they bring in Cyborg Superman and Apocalypse, and Apocalypse had nothing to do with Return of Superman. It was somebody else.
Wait, no. Return of Superman, the comic is he comes back.
He comes back, but the villains
and he's fighting
the.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying, but it was all isolated. It wasn't, you know, Doomsday or Darkseid.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Darkseid.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with Darkseid. It was Cyborg all along.
Well, it was Cyborg, and he was backed by Mogul, the big yellow.
Yeah. The Planet Destroyer guy.
Right.
There was a lot of random characters in the original comics too. You know what I mean? It wasn't like
Yeah, Guy Gardner showed up, in one.
and then you got like fake Wonder Woman or fake Supergirl. I mean, and then you had
you could do it without Supergirl. You don't need her there.
And then Lex Luthor is actually a clone, and it's actually Lex Luthor. That kind of bullshit. Like I just felt like that comic was very disconjointed. It was like hammered together. It was just pure shock factor.
The problem with, it's not really a problem, but the thing is, back then you had continuity things.
I agree.
So the whole continuity, it was a Luthor clone.
I agree.
It's not that they did it for Return of Superman.
No, they did that to get cells, because Superman cells went up. That's why they did it. They killed him for that, and they weren't going to bring him back. And they did.
But what I'm saying is, like, those weird things that were in the comic weren't made for the comic. That's just how the universe was in DC at the time.
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. It's not that great of a comic. And like if you want a story about Superman dying, you can make a comic about that and just switch out the characters like they did. But
that Superman was fine. I was fine. I didn't need to see. Was it the Starfire or whoever it was? And I didn't need to see them, or Bloodwind. I didn't need to see them. It was cool to see OG Justice League fighting Doomsday. That was fine.
Yeah, that was way better than Guy Gardner and fucking everybody. I can't even name half the fucking people.
Yeah, but my problem was in the comic book, each character of the Reign of Superman, each character kind of has their own thing going. And
yeah. They're all having their little conversations.
In this one, they were apart for like 5 minutes, and all of a sudden they're all at the same fight. Mm-hmm. And
that makes more sense, though.
All of them showing up at the same time to fight each other?
What do you mean, to fight Doomsday?
No. I'm talking about Return of Superman. Death of Superman was okay. I was okay with that. Oh. Return of Superman was the one I had a problem with.
Oh, they all. Yeah, well, that was a slow burn, though. The way the comic is, and they're like different parts, and they're kind of coming together. And I think the Cyborg Superman was well written. That part. Everything else was stupid, I thought. The other three comics with the the Man of Steel and the Eradicator.
Well, Man of Steel was kind of like a Tony Stark character, actually. He developed weapons, and then they were on the street, and he was trying to get them off the street.
That was dumb. In the comics at the time, I guess that was cool, but like try to read it now, it's just like I don't know.
You can change it. You can make it better now, but
I agree, and they did it.
Yeah, but you never really got to see him going out, hunting the bad guys.
Yeah.
He just decided to start, fighting the other Superman for some reason. Eradicator was out there trying to make a point that he was the true Superman, but he's only out there in like one scene, and then he's back in the fortress.
Yeah, Cyborg Superman was the only one who was like legit, but then they kind of changed the story a little, and it's like you lost the character from the comic.
Yeah,
and because they changed it was a revenge story, so it wasn't a revenge story.
In the comic, it was a revenge story too. Only it took him a lot longer to actually get his revenge. In this one, he came back in about 6 months or something like that. In the comic, it took him like decades to come back.
I thought in the comic it was Metallo.
No. In the comic, it was Hank Henshaw. So in the comic, it was Hank Henshaw. He was part of some space crew. They get killed, but it has nothing to do with Superman. And his consciousness survives somehow, and he's able to take over machines. And then he finds out that Superman died, and so he wants to come back, and he wants to, take over the planet or some shit.
We strayed off.
Huh? Yeah, it wasn't revenge.
Oh, whatever, man. I'm not really married to this any idea. I don't even know how we got to Superman Death of. You were saying it was better than Red Son was better.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not saying much. That's what I think that was my main point. That's not saying much. And like, I don't like these new cartoons. Like ever since what is it, the Red Hood? Ever since I'm craving Funyuns. Ever since the Red Hood, all it's like they changed out the artistry, and it's a different fucking DC animation sucks. I don't like any of it.
You prefer the old school one, like from Batman animated series?
No, Red Hood got dark. It was like a whole new thing. It's not like before Red Hood, there was another comic and movie. I forgot what it was. Oh, I think it was the first Doomsday was part of it, and then there was a couple other ones, and they were pretty good. But then after the Red Hood, it all went to shit. They switched it up. Oh, you haven't? Oh, that's pretty fucking good. It's pretty fucking good. Better than Red Son. And you know what? The Red Hood in the comic, and the Red Hood in the cartoon's better.
What about Batman Beyond: Return of Joker?
That's just boring. I mean, it's good, but it's a bit boring. Yeah, I tried to watch it again. It's a bit boring. It's good. Yeah, and that's not a comic book. That's really just a movie. They just made that a movie. But the huh?
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that since it came out.
Yeah, it's hard to watch again because it's very slow. But it's good. If they made a movie, that would be really good. You know, just ramp up the action. It's good. It's a good story too.
There was another one.
Where's Doomsday? There you go. Yeah, you get your Red Hood, and you get your Flashpoint. Those are pretty good. And then after Flashpoint, that's when they started making the shit. Literally, right after. Yeah. Everything was bad. They started making Batman movies, and they were like terrible versions of the original comic. You know, like not Court of Owls and all that shit. These comics were really good. And then when you watch these movies, it's just shit. And then they started making a bunch of rated R cartoons, which don't make sense at all because they're not fucking or anything. They're just like somebody said, "What the shit is that?" or something like. They can't even say fuck. You know, it's like they fought to get a rated
R. Do you think they should make Kingdom Come?
Now, okay, you know, 10 years ago, I would have said yeah. But it seems to be everything I want gets made and turned to shit. Okay, for instance, I bet you haven't seen it, but Picard, have you seen Picard?
I've seen the first 3 episodes.
Whoa. So I watch Star Trek Next Generation, all of the Star Treks really, every year. Like, I just do. And like, I don't even try. It's not like I schedule it or something like that. It's just
you just end up watching it again. Got it.
Yeah, I just, you know, it's like I don't know, comfort food, right? But for my mind. I watched Picard, and I was psyched. That first episode, I have to say, I was like, yeah, all right. And I watched the whole show. Wow. Be careful for what you wish for nowadays, because it's fucking garbage. It's garbage. Like the whole thing. I wish you have seen it all, and I can't recommend watching it all, but it's like, why am I watching Picard? Why am I watching Picard? I'm watching Picard because I want to see Picard. I want to see everything he could do. He can't do anything. He's just there. Everybody's doing everything else.
That's disappointing.
Well, and he's old. That's the argument. He's old. He can't do as much. Then don't fucking make it. Don't make it then. If we're not, it's why I want to watch it. If I'm the fan and I want something, and you're not giving it to me, then why did you fucking make it to begin with? It's like, let's have the Karate Kid, but instead let's make him do Kung Fu. And yeah. Or
I don't know. I like where it started.
Me too. It has to go somewhere though. That you know what I mean? Like when you start something, it has to go somewhere. It doesn't. And then it like just kind of creates an ending for the characters, and then you're left thinking, well, why did they do this? Why did they do that? When did Picard do anything?
So the series already ended?
Oh yeah. Last week, maybe Yeah, last week.
I'm gonna have to watch it then.
Yeah, I mean, you might enjoy it. It just doesn't make sense. Like you have a thing. Okay, this is kind of a spoiler, but it will make no sense to you without context. So you could watch it and be like, oh, okay. So you got a Borg cube, and it could destroy everything because it's Borg. Even in the show, it's like we want Borg stuff because it's the best. That's a thing.
Right.
They establish it in this show, in this iteration. So even there, they're saying Borg top shit. So they go to a planet and they get taken out. Borg taken out. I'm not going to explain why. I'm going to explain how. This is ridiculous. So the planet is able to take out the Borg. I'm like, okay, cool, fine. They're that powerful. Next episode, these ships come out and they can't. The thing that could take out the Borg can't take out these ships, which is a lower version of the Borg. I'm not even a lower version of the Borg, but like the Borg could have took all of them out. And
so like rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. So why is it? Yeah. But why is it you could take out, if you could take out Top Dog, how come you can't take out these guys? That's where I'm getting at. So
I have to watch it.
There's a lot of little logic trains like that. Like they're trying to lead up to something. But why are they going to be created in twos? Like they never explain that. They just do it for no reason.
Yeah, I like watching Star Trek First Contact for the first 7 minutes.
It's a lot of fighting, and then you see the Borg destroy everything. Yeah. Just one Borg cube can go back in time if it wanted to. What the fuck?
Why don't they all do it all the time?
Yeah, yeah, right. But I don't know. The whole show was dumb. I mean, you're like waiting for Picard to do some kind of a speech, and then like the whole show's done. They're like, oh, what about this speech? I'm like, what? That was a speech? I thought it was him like, help me. Like he does this part where he goes, I'm gonna do something, and he doesn't do anything. It's literally written in a way where, like, he's just there, and then things happen, and
so it's like they wanted to make a new show, but they wanted to get people to watch it, so they just shoehorned Picard's character in there.
Whoa! If you would have called it something else, it could have been called Star Trek. You wouldn't even known it was Star Trek, honestly. If you would have called it Trek Star or some shit like that, and changed out Picard with some other old guy, boom, done. There you go, because that's what this is.
I like that they were dealing with the whole aftermath of what happened at the end of, what happened at the beginning-ish of the Kelvinverse timeline.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But
kind of cool.
But kind of out there, right? It's happening, but they don't really visit that. They just say it's happening.
It's like okay, so the Kelvinverse branched off, did its own thing, but in the meantime, the normal universe is still doing this. I liked it because it moved the original universe forward, and acknowledged what had just happened in it. Especially acknowledge what happened in the Abrams movie, which was cool too. It's not like Abrams made something up that never happened in the original universe.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, man, that sucks.
Yeah, and then like they're cursing a lot too. So I was just like,
yeah, I wasn't down with that. And then everybody was too modern. You watch the original series, Next Generation, and even the movies. Nobody talks like how we talk.
Mm-hmm. I guess they were trying to mimic what the Kelvin universe is, and
no,
Discovery.
But that's wrong. Because you can. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I mean they're wrong for trying to do that.
I agree.
Because in the Kelvin timeline, you could say, okay, well, because since this happened, maybe people's attitudes about, what's acceptable socially and how we talk and how we treat each other, maybe it changed. So, to be able to go ahead and put that more edginess, into like
yeah.
Okay,
but this is the normal universe.
This is normal universe. You shouldn't have that there.
Another thing that bothered me is like Star Trek, you're not working for money. You're working to better yourself. And that's like a theme. And like one lady's like living out in the boonies, and I'm like, but why? Like, I can't find a job. Now while you're living in your chateau, I'm like, why don't you have a chateau? I mean, like, it's not like it's money, and you can replicate stuff. It's like,
what does she call him? What does she call him? JP or
JL, Jean-Luc? It should be JP, if anything, right? JP, because Jean-Luc is one thing, and then Picard.
Yeah, I didn't like that she was calling him JL. I was like,
Oh.
It was annoying.
And it did make sense with the character of Picard. So you watch Picard, I mean Star Trek, right? 7 seasons or whatever, plus the movies. And when's the time where Picard is like, you can't do that, and he's like, oh, I guess I can't do that. Like, I mean, the guy saved the universe, right? I mean, like, okay, yeah, like if the guy who saved the universe, like the Federation, time itself, talk to the Q, all this good shit, right? Why the fuck are you just saying no, guy? No, we don't like you anymore. I mean, none of that makes sense. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Why are you gonna hate on him for sticking to his guns? She should have been like, you know what? You think this is bullshit? I'm leaving with you too. This is also bullshit. Then, not
he saved Starfleet.
Hey, what the fuck? You cost me my promotion. You know?
Yeah, in season 2, there was like parasites inside of them, and like all of the Federation, not the higher ups, they were being wormatized, and they were taking over.
Is that where they were putting the worms in their ears?
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah.
Oh man, that episode freaked me out when I was a kid.
And then Picard takes them out. Like he takes them out. Like he shoots them dead. And that's the thing. So Picard is so badass that if there's a conspiracy, he can suss it out. And he does this numerous episodes where the Federation does something bad, and he's like, "No bullshit." And then tons of episodes like this, even in the movies. Even have a movie called Insurrection. Yeah. And he does that. And then like, you're telling me, here's your Picard show. Hey, yeah, we don't want to say Romulans. Fuck them. And you're just like, I'm Picard, man. I saved the fuck. Sense does that make? Like I get if he saved just Earth. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. The universe, all of humanity.
Yeah.
The Federation.
I didn't like all the cursing. Why does Starfleet always have to be so damn corrupt?
Yeah, it didn't make sense. It was like, why are you making this show? Like, it was like, it felt like people who weren't fans of the show made a show, and they had people like, give me some Easter eggs. Okay, cool, we'll do that. We'll put that in there.
Or let's modernize it, make it hit. It's like,
yeah, but like, it doesn't make sense. Like you can go ahead, modernize it, but it doesn't make sense with the character. Like, right. Picard can curse all day and every day if you want him to. He can say fuck, fuckity fuck, but he's still the fuck, fuckity fuck guy who saved the universe. He saved the Federation. And like, what's this drug addiction thing? So, she's like smoking like, I guess, snake weed or I don't know what the fuck, and she's addicted to it. And I'm like, wait a minute, when was this ever a thing? Because like, there's never been an episode where someone's addicted, and if they were, it was like an alien thing, and it became an episode. Like, we need to figure this shit out. She's doing something that we don't know what it's called. Addiction, but like, that's a thing. Even to the point where the holodeck is an addiction, and they dealt with it there. But then you have this lady smoking snake shit, and it's like, the fuck, why are you addicted to this? Why is this a thing? Why is this a thing?
Yeah, I don't know. That was a problem.
So like, I mean, like Picard and like, they create these things, the mystery box. We talked about this, Star Wars. They create a lot of mystery boxes. They do not open them. So, yeah. And at the very end, they kind of close it.
Great. I wanted to tell you. Oh.
Yeah, pretty much. Much.
Have you seen the Honest trailer for Rise of Skywalker?
A lot of people hated that movie and hated on it. But
well, I mean, they always hate on the movies that they review, but
especially Honest trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, was it? They also hated on shit. But at the end, they said, "Oh, who are we kidding? We all like this movie anyway."
Oh, that's
no. But they point out a bunch of things in their I don't know. It's worth watching. I enjoyed it. I only seen it twice, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it's going.
I have to say though, I think people would have liked Star Wars 9 more, if anything, if they just continued off of 8, because then it would be more coherent. But instead, they continued off of 1 or 7.
Well, that was something that they pointed out in the Honest trailer, was that they kind of try to please people that like 7 and liked 8, but didn't really succeed at either one.
I agree.
Because the movies kind of did this, like 7, 8.
But anyone who liked 8 were 2 things: either non-fans or trolls.
Man.
Like, so when you pissed off people who liked 8, really they're just idiots because they're like, "Ooh, you didn't have enough Rose Tico, or you didn't have enough what purple hair lady, or I don't know." Fuck. I mean, what the fuck? That's your fucking movie. Rose Tico and Luke giving up. The guy who didn't give up on his father, who killed a bunch of younglings or children, and just decided to give up 30 years later. No reason. None. But
Yeah.
we're beating a dead horse with that.
Uh,
Do you watch that Castlevania?
What'd you say?
Did you watch Castlevania?
No, I didn't watch Castlevania.
Oh, you suck. What have you been watching since quarantine? We can get into that.
I've been playing Witcher, man. You know what I recently watched again? I recently watched Terminator 1 and 2 again.
Oh, did you watch the newer one?
No, I'm gonna watch that
Good.
next.
No.
Because I think you told me that it wasn't very good, but I feel like I need to watch it anyways because I've watched all the other. No, I haven't watched Genesis.
That's a better movie.
Seriously?
It is. If you don't know any of the, if you have never seen the trailer, that's a really good movie.
I don't even remember the trailer.
Good.
So I just know that it exists.
It's good. It's good. I liked it. I like 4. You know, I like 3. I liked most of the movies.
Salvation a lot.
It's good. I watched it again recently. It was pretty good. This new movie, what makes it bad is it just negates the so it's the third. It's supposedly be like the third movie, right? Negating the other movies, right? It in fact negates the other 2 movies.
3 in Genesis?
No, 1 and 2, the good ones.
What do you mean? What do you mean it negates 1 and 2?
So it's supposed to be Terminator 1.
I'll watch it.
No, I'm not spoiling. I'm just saying it goes Terminator 1, Terminator 2, and then this movie. That's how it's supposed to be.
Oh, when you say negates, it means it sounds like you're saying that it makes 1 and 2 irrelevant.
Yeah, that's negate. Yeah. What the very thing it was supposed to do was get rid of, was it
3 and 4?
3, 4,
5.
3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Man, that sucks. I like 4 a lot.
Yeah, me too. I liked it too. But it just gets rid of those, and that the entire, like, literally, I mean, might as well just make it. Boom, that's ground zero. You can say that's the first movie, and it's not even that good. It's very woke too. Oh man, is it woke? It demasculates men and masculates women. I'm surprised there's not a lesbian relationship there. I mean, that's always the natural progression of wokeness, right? You always make the men weaker, and then you make women stronger and fuck women. So, I mean, that's the natural progression. You just can't help it. Look at Valkyrie. They can have the Thor loving whatever the fuck. And so this is how woke we got with it. We made Thor a woman, and Valkyrie, make her queen. They should looking for another queen.
Yep.
I mean, if that doesn't say woke, I don't know what does. What else have you seen? Nothing?
Midway. Have you watched Midway?
Mm-mm.
I enjoyed it. Too much of it looked like it was shot on a soundstage.
It looked like a CG movie.
It looks there's a lot of scenes that are too CG-ish. Pearl Harbor, by comparison, looks way better.
Because it's real, I thought.
A
lot of real.
It was pretty real. Yeah. But you know what I did like about Midway? A lot of the tactical stuff. They didn't shoehorn in romance or any of that stuff. A lot of the characters, actually all the main characters, are actual people. And and the stuff that they did in the movie actually went down. There was one where I was like, "No, this is bullshit." They just had the hero do this, to kind of emphasize the hero thing. Turns out he actually did that shit. I was like, "Whoa, shit," it was cool to watch because Midway's one of those battles that when I first learned about it, I was like, damn, this is incredible. It's a battle we shouldn't have won, but it was just it was everything coming together just right for us to win that battle, and so this movie did it right by that I felt. Where Pearl Harbor just did it wrong.
Tom Hanks is coming out with one, isn't he? It's not Toro. It's Zero. I forgot. It's like something with a submarine. They have to take down submarines. It looks pretty good. Should look into it.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
Let me think here. It's gotta be something. Like no cartoons, no anime, nothing. Just Red Sun. That's the only thing we all agreed on.
Yeah, I'm looking over here at my collection.
Didn't you? Oh, you got Rise of the Skywalker, didn't you? 4 days early.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. How's it a 4K?
yeah, it got to me on Saturday. It was the 4K disc. Did I watch it? No, I didn't watch it.
It's a good movie. I'd watch it again. I've watched it twice in theater, so that's rare.
Did I watch it twice? No, I watched it once. Yeah, I watched it once.
What do you think about this coronavirus?
It's pretty crazy, man. Are you upset that they're going to push back Black Widow?
I thought they're going to put it on Disney Plus.
No, they're not going to do that.
That's what they said. Why aren't you on this? They did. And whatchamacallit?
When are they going to put it on Disney Plus?
Fuck if I know. Shit. Fuck. When it was supposed to come out. Maybe. I don't know. But what is the name? The Hellboy guy. David Harbour?
Yeah. I was thinking the other Hellboy guy. Yeah.
No, not Ron Perlman. But no, he said that it's coming out like that. Or something to that effect. I mean, rumor mill. But it looks like it's going to go that direction. Huh?
I thought they were going to push it back.
They should. That looks like a good movie to watch in theater. I mean, if you want to capitalize on your wokeness, this looks like the movie that would work as opposed to Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, like, the reason why it failed as much as it did, it was at the height of woke, and it did the thing, classic, let's crush men to make women better. Not equality, but crush men, women better. But this one looks more like, we're not crushing men. I know the David Harbour's a bit of a goof. So, I mean, like, that guy's goofy. So there's got to be, like, maybe another straw. What's going on? Oh.
There. My phone was just telling me that my battery's low.
Oh. What's my battery?
That's 20%. I got plenty.
I should be good because I was at 100 when we started.
Shit.
But yeah, like Black Widow, they really should push, but I don't think they are, and that's a real disservice because I really think that this movie could work because it's more like Civil War-ish.
Well, the Marvel movies, they lend themselves to being on the big screen. I mean, I wouldn't want to see it straight to Disney Plus, but I guess what they do on Disney Plus, Frozen 2 came out early on Disney Plus.
Have you seen that?
I think Onward. I haven't watched it.
Onward wasn't that great.
You watched Onward?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Pixar's been messing up lately.
Huh? Pixar, yeah. It's supposed to be, you know how Pixar's supposed to be like all sad movies? Toy Story 4 was kind of like, ugh. I was like, let's get over with. But 3 was really good. And then you watch Onward, and it had all the parts that could create like sadness. Like it had like, I'm like, I get why this is sad, you know, and I lovable character. It just wasn't, it had all the pieces, but it didn't have enough, like, I don't know, like Inside Out. You watch Inside Out, that's pretty good. You know, I don't know, man. They've lost their edge. You know?
I recently watched Ratatouille, and I was like, damn, they don't make them like this anymore. Inside Out was like, it felt like they'd been messing up, and then they came out with Inside Out. Inside Out was awesome.
Yeah, like it really gets you that when she's having that fucking breakdown and shit, I was like, this is good shit, right? And then and just all, like, I've watched it again more than once, and I have to say, like, it has all the beats, and it just works at a spiritual level. Onward, for some reason, I don't know, maybe there's some kind of fucking algorithm now for Pixar movies, because it really did felt like, well, this should happens. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. This is the reason why they're happening. And like, I guess, I mean, it's all there, but for some reason I'm not like, yeah, it is. It felt formula, which is weird. I don't know. They got to do something. Like Up is really good. Like you watch Up and you're like, the first 3 minutes you're crying, you know? So, I mean, like they don't have that anymore. It's not there, you know? So onward or downward. Anything.
What else was I watching? What are you playing right now, dude?
Oh, game wise,
Yeah.
I haven't been playing PlayStation as much, so I'm like reverse you. Like I've been watching shit, Like as I get older, watching shit is more of a thing than playing. I don't know. I like watching shit. You know.
Yeah, I'm watching a lot of Jay Leno's Garage on YouTube. Dude, I
I fell
love
asleep
cars.
as you were saying it. Are you watching any comedy specials?
Oh, the
No.
Ronnie Chang? Ronnie Chang?
I don't know who the fuck that is. The Asian
The
guy?
Asian guy from you're racist. You're a Chang. You automatically thought
Chinese
Asian
eyes.
guy. Yeah, the Asian guy on the Daily Show.
I don't know.
It was pretty good. Do you
I
watch
watched
Daily
it.
Show?
I did watch an Asian guy do comedy, and it was just recent. It was new, and it was pretty good. It was like something about going through a subway, you know, like I don't know, there was a subway bit. I thought that was pretty good.
Oh, damn it.
How about let's talk about
I've heard-
hmm.
Oh, what were you saying?
Let's talk a little bit about politics. You a Biden fan?
Oh God, it's 2016 all over again.
Well, I mean, if I had to choose between Hillary and Biden, you know, I mean, I think Hillary hands down. Biden sounds like a guy wearing a diaper drooling, you know?
well, I mean, Biden 4 years ago probably would have been better than Hillary 4 years ago.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. He sounded
yeah,
more coherent.
Biden's too old, man. He's
not older than Bernie.
yeah, no, but I'm saying like he's too old. He's just the way he talks, you know, he's slurring things together. You hear him like it's a struggle for him to be able to get his ideas out without.
Did you see what he said? He said "fuck you" to that one guy.
Yeah,
dude, and like I watched the whole thing just to see, you know, like you know, because maybe it's blown out of proportion.
Maybe taken out of context. Yeah.
So as I'm watching it, I see what he was trying to do. He was doing like a what, like I'm in your face, I'm right, you know, this is why I'm doing it, but it just landed the wrong way. So he's like, he's like, fuck you, I'm not trying to take your guns. I never said that. The guy's like, yeah, you did. And he goes, I never said that, but okay.
Well, I don't think he dropped the F-bomb. I think he said he was full of shit.
No, he said fuck you. He said fuck you. And he goes, I didn't say that. And he goes, what? Then he says, this is what really is funny because he didn't go with it. He's saying I'm not gonna take your guns. I have guns and da da da. You shouldn't have any guns. And I'm like, wait, what? Did you just say you weren't gonna take any guns? Now you're telling this guy he shouldn't have any guns? I mean, like, if you're gonna stick to, I never said that. Okay, let's go there. Let's stay there. You argued that out. But he literally goes, I didn't say that, and I'm not taking your guns. 30 seconds later, I'm taking your guns. And I was like, wait. Where are we going? Where are we going with this? You know, and that was him.
He's trying to be quick, and it doesn't work. Because when he tries to be, when you speed up is when you stumble. Mm-hmm. You know, in your feet.
Like his own ideologies were meshing and creating new things.
Well, because he wasn't saying things the way that you're supposed to say them. That's why when Obama would talk, it would frustrate people because he was very measured, but he was thinking about what he was saying.
Oh yeah, he was like,
out of his mouth.
I like the pudding.
And he's editing as he's talking, you know? You listen to people talk, and sometimes you're like, man, how did they know to qualify that statement before they even said their thing? You know, sometimes people talk, and it's only when they call you out and you're like, well, that's actually what I meant. But unfortunately, you know, with media, you know, like recording and stuff like that, you got to say it right the first time or else you're fucked. So sometimes
no. You could talk, and you can be wrong, and then you can fix that said wrong, and that's okay.
You kind of just proved my point right now. The way you paced it, and you made sure that what you were saying was exactly what you wanted to get across, proves it. You have to slow down. When you speed up is when you start to leave out words and you forget to put shit in. And
if I had made a mistake in what I was saying, and you would have called me out, I would have then said, no, yeah, you're right. That's what I meant. And you can then create a media frenzy like, well, he said this and this and that, and then he tried to back off. And you can have that, but at least you have that clip of me trying to say Wow. Yeah, you're right.
But
Well,
unfortunately, the way it works right now is they have that one clip where you messed up, and then that's it. That's what gets played
no,
over
but
and over.
if you watch the full, you're right. If you watch a clip, yeah, you're right. You can take it out. You watch the whole thing. It literally is him breaking apart. Like,
Yeah.
and then there's no coming back. Like, literally, not 2 weeks later, not tomorrow, not an hour from now. It's literally him breaking apart, and it just doesn't work. So it's not about speed or anything. He just doesn't know what he's doing, and that's a strategy too. Like, not his strategy, but his people. They're like, let's not let him talk to anybody. In fact, they were trying to do it right then and there, as he was like, fuck you and blah 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 blah. This lady who's like, hey, maybe you shouldn't. He goes, shh, like that.
Yeah.
That gets clipped out, by the way. So
But I saw that part.
Yeah, but he goes, shh. He tells her to shut up. But what she's trying to do is get him to stop talking because he's fucking himself.
Yeah.
And he wasn't there to debate anybody. He was just there to just be there. And he just so happens he asked the dude a question, and they were trying to help him out. And that's his whole entire campaign. And what makes me mad, all right, is this. Because he's on the left, I have to support him. I hate that. I mean, it proves that the things you were saying weren't true in my eyes. So when you have AOC, she's like, I support Bernie, blah, 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 blah. And then now we have the primaries, and the way it's set up now, looks like Biden's going to be the primary loser. So AOC goes, I'm back in fucking Biden. And Andrew Yang, he was like, oh, I'm so for Bernie. Bernie's this, Bernie that. And as soon as he got to that point, I'm for Biden. So, I mean,
it's the way the system's set up.
Well, no. Usually you have your Democrat and you get, those people. But then you got these other people who are kind of a little different from the norm. AOC, who's like, I'm different. Andrew Yang, I'm Asian. I'm different. And then he does the exact same fucking thing. And she does the exact fucking thing. So it just makes you think, did they actually get into where they're at by being genuine? Or did they get into where they're at because of who they are? Andrew Yang, Asian, AOC.
I think what it is I think they got to where they are by being themselves, and then they realized that can only get you so far, because it might work if you're trying to market yourself to your immediate community, but then now you're trying to market yourself to the whole country.
I agree.
And you're trying to please a lot of different people where, like in our social group, us and the guys, we can have our views and we can have, our ideas on what's fun and what's not fun. But now if we're trying to get more people to join our team, then all of a sudden we have to actually become more diverse. And some of the things that we like to do, we might have to tone down, if we're
explaining
trying to
politics.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. These are the bit, like, I get you bending wills and trying to go a certain direction, okay, I'll vote for guns this time. But these are big ones. This is like in your face.
I was down with Pete Buttigieg. But my problem with Pete Buttigieg,
I thought he was anti-gay. That's why I didn't like him.
He is gay.
I know.
No, but
he was against gay marriage. I was like, fuck that guy.
I thought that was going to be his weakness as far as trying to get elected.
Especially in the South.
I'm not homophobic. I don't see enough of the country going ahead and deciding, let's vote for a gay president.
That's such a rough call, though. You know what I mean? Like,
right. I mean,
like in California, because I'm in Michigan now, I see things way different. Not meaning they've corrupted me. I just see things. I'll get into that in a second. But like in California, you're so isolated, right? And you're like, fucking nobody hates gay people. And then you fucking come out here and it's like a thing.
Yeah, you're like, holy cow. It's like,
shit, like you guys are cool. Racist. I'm not saying all of the Michigan is racist. I'm saying like, wow, like it's there. Like California, not so much. And everyone's saying like, oh, these California people are racist. Anytime they're like trying to eat each other, because left kind of eats left sometimes. They're all idiots. California is kind of uniformed. It's like, who could be more into gay people?
It's like,
I love gay people. Well, I love gay people and Chinese people, so they're trying to one up each other. But there's the real deals out here.
A friend of mine from Mexico was like, yeah, this country, so there's so much racism over here and awareness of racism and people calling each other racist. There's no racism in Mexico. And I was like, well, that's because everybody's Mexican in
Yeah.
Mexico. There's not a whole, there's a class system in Mexico. You know, there's the rich people that stay rich and the poor people that stay poor. And it's
Yeah.
actually a lot more reinforced in Mexico. There's no upward mobility at all in Mexico.
I always felt it was more conservative there, you know?
But here's the thing. There is racism in Mexico. They don't acknowledge it. There's the indigenous Mexicans, and then there's the Spanish Mexicans. So the Spanish Mexicans are the ones that are going to have more European features, and the indigenous ones are the ones that are going to have the more Asian features because they're part of the indigenous tribes, right? So they have the more like Native American features, and so they are totally cast aside. They are not like elected to office. They're not in any kind of positions of power. They're not even represented on TV. On
I agree.
TV, it's all the wide-eyed, you know, European-looking Mexicans. Those are the ones that get to be on the TV in Mexico. So it's if anything, there's racism down there. It's just accepted. Nobody really calls each other out for being racist because it's like the 1700s down there. You know,
it is kind of a third world country, kind of, you know.
I mean, call
yeah.
it a third country, but
I mean, there are some good spots, but it's mostly poor too.
No, I've been down to deep parts of Mexico. It's not a third world country. Is there poverty? Yeah,
I'm pretty sure if I Google right now, I'd see it as a third world country.
No, it's a developed nation, but and they have a lot of resources and they could do a lot, but they're just super corrupt. Now, if you only know like PJ, then yeah, you know, it probably looks like a third world country, but no, the interior of Mexico, highly developed. Their roadways, a lot of them are better than ours. Especially
no, I disagree with you.
Dude, I've driven all the way down.
Mexico's pretty big. I don't think you've driven the entirety of Mexico. It's a pretty big place. The world's a big place.
Dude. I'm talking about the interstates.
Even in the interstate, it's a huge place. Like, okay, for instance, in Chicago, it's a huge city. You could drive forever in Chicago, and you're still in Chicago. And there's places you could just be, and it's like, oh man, Chicago's fucking nice. And then there's big spots in Chicago.
Would you call the U.S. a third world country based on the poor parts of Chicago?
Wait. Okay, there you are. No. So America is a bigger country, so naturally you could have spots, but there's more. I think it's more spread out. You know, not poor, but spread out. And your definition of poor is way different. Like, I mean, you can go to McDonald's and for $1 you can still eat. You know, that's anywhere in California. There's not a place where like, fuck, there's no food. Fuck, what do I do? No, there's a fucking McDonald's. You get $1, you get 30 cents. You can fucking get a 39-cent cheeseburger, some shit like that. But in Mexico, there are literal parts where they don't have access to water. That's not a thing in America. I mean, yeah, you got your Flint, but at least they got water. You know what I mean? It's bad.
It kills them.
It's shitty. But at least they have access to it. But like, we're straying off. I know actual racist Mexicans, and it's usually the ones that are racist are the ones who are real Mexican. Like, they're more conservative than they are liberal. And it's a weird thing. Like, they don't even think of themselves as racist. They're just like, yeah, those type of people, man. They're always acting like that. And this is the way they talk.
They tend to be more racist against Asians and African Americans.
Pretty much African Americans.
They hate them.
Yeah, that's true. And then like the things they say, you know, it's like fuck is this? And like I know there's some Americanized.
And it's accepted. That's the thing though. It's accepted. They don't see it as racism.
Yes, they don't.
That's what I'm saying. In Mexico, there is racism. They just don't see it as a bad thing.
I agree. When you were saying that, I was thinking that in my head because there's one lady I know. She's like hardcore Spanish. Like half the time she's talking English, she just slips it out, you know, and she slips out some Spanish things and she says some things, you know. Yeah, those people, you can't trust them. I was just like, shit. My face fell. Wait, what's this? Thank you for choosing Zoom. All right, cool. That's my camera here. Huh? So
As
there.
long as it still says it's recording.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Let me look. We're still recording. No, see, Biden. Oh, let me tell you about. Wait, were you going somewhere? Whoa. You just teleported. Oh.
Go ahead, Ken. I'm listening.
Oh. I could pause it.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Oh, you got squeeze one off, huh?
No, I'm trying to unplug my.
It's okay. It's okay. No, here I am in Michigan. And I have to say, like you do see things differently because in California everyone's a hardcore. They're kind of united in their liberalness, and hardcore CNN, all about that, right? And that Fox News is the devil, right? And then you come into Michigan and you see things like you wouldn't. It's like almost the opposite, where people are watching Fox News and are like, "That's CNN. That shit's fake news," and you're just like, it's like I don't know. When I saw that shit, I was like, man, they should just Earth should just explode. It was so bad. Like these people were watching Fox News, and because I've seen people, they'd be watching CNN, they'd be quote beat for beat whatever the hell some other person in CNN would say, and like just accept every. And it's funny because they're both aspects of the truth, not the complete truth, just aspects. Right. Like I will explain coffee cake. I love coffee cake because it's moist and this and that. And then people will hear me and go, "Well, coffee cake's pretty good because it's moist." And then you say, "I hate coffee cake because it's dry." And
I was watching it was the Daily Show, and it was the best of this guy or the best of that guy. One of them was they went to like some Trump rallies and they were asking people Trump questions.
Okay,
and, one of them was like the whole impeachment thing. And a bunch of people were like, maybe they were being selective in who they were actually putting on the screen, but a lot, I mean, I'm sure they were, the funnier ones, obviously, right? But there was a lot of people that were saying, like, yeah, you should inform yourself. This is all a bunch of fake news. Go out and read the transcript. That'll tell you. And the interviewer would ask them, okay, did you read the transcript? Well, no, I didn't read the transcript. I didn't have to. And it's like, how are you basing your ideas on this if you haven't even bothered to look at the evidence?
Yeah.
They're getting everything just from
the
news that they watch. Now, I watch Fox News,
Me too.
I'll watch Fox News because I think it's really important to kind of see how it's being lensed to people, MSNBC, too far to the left for me. CNN, they lean left. But I feel like a lot of this is like they felt like they had to kind of offset the effect of Fox News, and by, fact checking Fox News and fact checking the president, all of a sudden now they're like, oh, that's the liberal network.
Yeah.
No.
But it's on both sides though. Like it's like what?
That's not how it started,
No, you're right. It was CNN. What are you talking about? Like it was CNN number one. That's how it was. Right. And then Fox in the 90s was like, hey, you know what? We need to be I think it's a law or something like that. Maybe in 2000s they needed some kind of a law where like they needed their own. And then that's when Rush Limbaugh and
there was a
Tom
law.
Likas.
There was a law that said if you were a news organization, you had to present both sides of a topic equally. They skirted the law by calling themselves an entertainment network and not a news network. This was Roger Ailes' whole idea. And Roger Ailes always knew that CNN always kind of leaned left a little bit, MSNBC, definitely. So he was like, there's a market for right-wing politics, right? And so they're always saying, oh, Fox is the number one name in news. Well, that's because Fox is all of the Republican, stuff, and the Democrat stuff, which is the same, but it's just split between MSNBC and ABC and CBS and all the other networks. So that's not really true when Fox says we're the number one. I mean, it is and it isn't. They're not number one because they are the best. They're number one because they're the only ones really catering to right-wing politics.
I agree.
But Roger Ailes' whole idea was we have to get these ideas out there, and if we sensationalize it, you know, and make it sexy, we'll get watched. And there you go.
Yeah, they got them Fox chicks with the skirts and their legs crossed all the time, and they're like, "I'm gonna open up commercial."
Well, and I didn't know this, but did you know that they actually had lights, soft lights, underneath the desks? So they have the desk, and then underneath the desk, they had these soft lights to light up their legs.
It's funny. I believe it. You know, it's funny too. The same people listening to the left though were like, "Oh, they believe the transcript, right? Yeah, Trump needs to go down or whatever the fuck, right?" You have people on the right, and they're doing the same exact thing, and they're not really paying attention. For instance, this one girl I know, she was like, she's hardcore, all about Trump. And I don't even think she understands her own ideology. Honestly, I think she's just on the right just to be there. Like some people on the left. I'm not gonna lie. Like most people on the left, it's the same fucking thing. They're just there to be there. And if you were to like ask them any kind of question about what they are all about, it's like just default to whatever the left is, even though it kind of breaks its own ideology. I'll get there in a second about that. But she's like, the Chinese flu is a thing, and you know it's, you know, the Chinese people have it, you know. And I was just like, okay, Carl Tucker Carlson or whatever the fucking guy, he was saying that this shit did come from China, and he explained it did come from the Wuhan province. And I was like, yeah. And then he then had said that, you know, it is the government, you know, we should blame the government, not the people. And I was like, I believe in that. Problem, people can't fucking separate things sometimes. So on the right, people can't they can't say it's the government. They have to say it's people. Right? They don't mean to. They just don't have the mental capacity to say it's the government. No nuance. You know, it's the government, and then the way they practice things, the way they hide things and facts, and a lot of propaganda on their end. And then on the left, it's fucking same thing. Okay, so like you can't say it came from the Wuhan province, you know, right? No, it actually came from America. And then you get this weird shit, you know, like this guy got it from New York, obviously, you know, and like, but he really got it from someone who came from China, from the Wuhan province, you know, or some shit like that. And because you got these two polarized areas, you got, it's the Chinese people, shouldn't say that. And then you say it's the Chinese government, you can't say that because now it's racist. So on both ends, you can't get to the truth.
So here's my thing on that.
Uh-oh.
I mean, if they said, oh, the Chinese virus, okay, I get it, but
you shouldn't have said that.
It has a name. It's COVID-19, you know, or coronavirus, or the novel coronavirus. But it was the way it was being said.
Oh, yeah. No. He polarized the racism of it.
Right.
Oh,
and then he tried to say it wasn't racist, but he was being racist.
He was. You know? He wasn't. But, like, he wants to draw attention to where it came from. And, I mean, like, we should hold that government accountable for that, but we won't. And there's an anger there because we're not really attacking the reason this happened. We put it out to the people, and that's where it goes wrong. Like when ISIS came down, or ISIS, what am I trying to say? When Al Qaeda goes and blows up them fucking buildings, and it was a radical, you know, faction of Muslim, you know, Muslim, if you want to say it that way. But people took it, and with Bush saying, yeah, it's these terrorists and da-da-da, people took that and made it a thing where anyone wearing a towel on their head, it's all obviously them, you know? Then fast forward to now, it's the same thing. It's like, yes, there's a government that kind of, you know, grew this shit up. Not like terrorists, not like that conspiracy theory bullshit. This the way they practice, the way they do, and then the way they have propaganda to. Only 100 people died. That's 1 million or some shit like that, you know? So they do that, and we can't hold them accountable. So he goes and says what he does, and it's like, I see the messed upness in that he was trying to put it onto the government, but it turns to the people, and America isn't so understanding. It's really weird because, you know, you got people defending China, the government, defending it. You know, defending the bad guys,
right?
You know, because it's racist, and there's memes, you know,
that's the problem. That's the problem because he he was using that, right? The Chinese virus. And then if you come out and say, well, don't call it that, all of a sudden you could paint those people as defending China. And that's not what they were trying to do either. But
I hear what you.
you're cutting out. I'm not hearing you.
Can you hear me?
There you go. I hear you now.
Oh shit! I can't hear you.
I hear you now.
So
I don't like how big it makes it.
I forgot what I was even talking about. I had to switch up, and I don't. You got you playing with the background. Weren't you making a point, or was I making a point regarding Mulan?
I forgot.
But yeah, it's pretty crazy, this virus. It's like stays on surfaces for more than a day. You know, you could have.
We're talking about racism. And how some surfaces are more racist than others.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, people take what he said and just run with it, you know?
Well, that's the problem. You should come up with your own stuff. I mean, you should, I don't know.
They'll quote articles. Like this one lady was like, she goes, yeah, there's many articles where it makes me right. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, you can find articles where the earth is flat.
Those are all opinion pieces, and it's usually an echo chamber type of deal. Like somebody will write something or say something, and then the president will repeat it, and somebody will cite that, and then it just gets louder and louder.
See, I got to argue with my dad about that shit. Like, I was like, how can you be like with Biden? You know, like he's like an idiot. Like when he told that guy, fuck you. And then he did the thing that people do on the Fox side. He's like, you're taking it out of the context. I'm like, no, I watched the whole thing. He really did fuck that all up. And then he goes, and then he was like, you know what? You talk like a duck. Like he went into like what people on Fox would do, like the old people, it's like insult you. It's kind of, they don't really have a point, you know. But he did it on that side, so it's like, you can kind of see where we're falling apart here with this right and left, you know. And it's gotten worse. It's gotten way worse.
It's too divided. It's too divided. I don't know, man. When I watched the news conferences, there was a while where I was trying to make an effort to watch every single one, but they were on at different times, different times of the day. I'm surprised Anthony Fauci still, his main dude, because that dude's always having to correct what Trump is saying.
Yeah. But I think like he doesn't want to feel that heat, like in a crisis. He's like, fuck, I don't want to get rid of this guy because this shit's real. This shit can kill me. Yeah,
that's the only reason he's still there.
Yeah, that shows you how true this shit is,
But it's just it's Trump talks out of his ass, dude. If everybody knew that he wasn't running any businesses since the 90s, all he did afterwards was license his name, and live off of his fame. The Apprentice, the boardroom, the offices that they were in, those were all sets. The guys that made the show, they've already come out and said all that stuff was fake. A lot of the stuff wasn't even shot in Trump Tower. And a lot of spaces we had to create for the show. There were some places in Trump Tower that looked old, like from when they were first built back in the 80s. And they were like, we had to redo a bunch of stuff because it didn't promote the image that we wanted to promote for the show. And the guy was just playing with tax laws, playing with his dad's money, playing with other people's money. And there was even one, and it was during a debate, and I thought for sure he was going to lose after this, where Hillary Clinton was basically saying, hey, you know what? He didn't pay any taxes, on his properties or anything. And he very next breath, Trump says, that makes me smart. He pretty much admitted that he's not paying taxes and admitted that he's, leveraging the tax laws in his favor, and that he's not as successful as he's trying to paint. He really just knows how to game the system.
He's successful. What are you talking about? He's got a name. Everybody knows it. Makes a lot of money. He's a president. I mean, that's pretty successful. It's disingenuous to say he's not successful because of this, this, and this. That's just trying to find a reason of you're trying to explain how the sky is not blue. You know, success is measured by, I mean, actions. I mean, like his literal actions are. He's got a tower. How many towers you got named after yourself? You know,
economically successful, yes.
In comparison to you and me, yeah.
But by his own virtues, no, he didn't create a product that people wanted.
Well, I mean, that's what success is in America most times. Is I didn't really. Yeah, it's not what I did. It's what I did to achieve it. Like you know, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't make Facebook. Someone else did. And if he put Bill Gates doesn't make Windows. Someone else did. They put and Apple. Steve Jobs didn't make Apple. Other people did. And then they put forth the but that's why you know Steve Jobs. That's why you know Bill Gates, because they did the things that they did. And Trump did the things that he did to be where he's at.
They did the things that they did, and they put together structures that pretty much, you know, revolutionized how we do things. You know, either technology or you know ideologies or ideas and stuff like that. But Trump just made money by ripping people off.
So be it. He's still there, but he's still where he's at. You know what I mean?
He's successful. He's successful the same way Tony Montana was successful in Scarface. Yeah, you know, the accumulation he's famous. Of wealth, the accumulation of wealth doesn't make you a good leader. You know, and I think that's what
no. Let's stick to one thing real quick. You're trying to slam the success. He's successful, and when you say not you, but the general you, the left, when you guys say he's not successful, it's to these mongoloids out there who are just getting out of their tractors and coming in the cornfields about Trump, how awesome he is. They hear you say he's not successful, but they see the successes and they're like, shit, you know? And then like, that's the reason why we can never get anywhere, is because our anger is so strong. And
there's a divide in understanding.
Yeah. He's successful, you know, like you, I get it. When he talks, he doesn't talk right, you know, and he's not, I don't know, articulate, and he makes a lot of mistakes, you know, but I mean, he is successful. And there's something to be said.
He made a lot of money. Yes. But
no, you're just choosing just because he made a lot of money. No, he's successful. You know his name. I know his name. He's a president. That's successful. I mean, Eminem, Kanye West makes music, and he's successful. I don't like it. You know, there's some songs I do, but I just don't like it. It's success.
That's not based on lies. I mean,
no. What I'm saying is, well, kind of Taylor Swift, all that. I'm just saying. He's successful. Kanye West is successful, but it's not a success I like. I mean, Trump, it's not a success I give a fuck about. Like, what the fuck do I care about a hotel or fucking the press? I don't give a shit. It is successful. And that means something to these fucks over here. They need to see action. They need to see actual deeds happen. And they see it. And they're like, fuck there. And then they have the people that could help them understand how wrong they are you, but you're stuck on the whole lying. You're lying in a way you don't understand. You're not you. I'm not trying to insult you. I'm saying
I know.
You're stuck in this path where it's like it is a thing where there's a truth and you're just discounting it because it's fuck him. You know, he's not on my team.
He's trying to paint himself as a self-made billionaire.
Yeah,
he's not self-made. He was worth $300,000 by the time he was like 5 years old.
Yeah, it's old talk still. What he's rich, right? He's rich, right? Yes or no?
Yeah, his dad gave him a lot of money.
So when you got these fucks, these yahoos are like, oh yeah, Trump, you know, and then you say he's not successful. What is it they're saying?
Yeah, you're right.
And then you're the one who can actually lead them back towards the center again. But you fuck up because you go, well, this numbers, truth. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, if you break down anybody, you could do that. You could say Steve Jobs is a hack.
How do you explain to people the difference between somebody who grifted the system versus somebody who was good at community organizing?
Because most people that you're talking about are poor. And they work for a boss who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, and they're ahead of them. Everybody who's not rich knows that there's a person that's above them just immediately, And they know that person who doesn't deserve to be where they're at, but they're there. And they know that deep inside, and it's ingrained into our bones. And so when you see a guy who's above you, that's not a thing in which you think, oh, well, he cheated the system. We already know that. It's already in us. So when you say he's not successful, then we shut you out. When you're talking, you got to go a different direction. Okay, for instance, he does this thing with our what is it called, Islam or something like that. So he takes these countries that have, the Islamic countries. He's like, they're banned. They were already pretty much banned already, but he bans them again, right? It becomes a thing where he's racist against Islamic people, and it's kind of like, no, he didn't ban Saudi Arabia. They're pretty fucked up. They're throwing gays off the roofs. They're stoning witches. They're like, that's the thing.
Business with them.
And but we're still with them. So if you wanted to, okay, so here's your Republican. You really want to talk to him? You'll say, yeah, but your president's racist. They're like, he's not racist. He got rid of these bad countries that do all these things. So you've already lost. You didn't say, what about Saudi Arabia? Like, here's your guy who got rid of these bad states, but the big bad you didn't get rid of. You want to bitch about him about the wall, right? You're like, oh, he's gonna make this wall of Mexicans, and then you say he shouldn't build a wall, blah 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 blah. No, you shouldn't even say that. You should say he didn't build a wall. That's what you say. That wall has been there. He hasn't done anything. Like, that's how you reach these people. You don't tell them what you think is right. You tell them what is true. The wall's not being built. You want to talk about economy. You go, oh yeah, their side economy's doing great because of what? What stat? And they go, well, this stat, unemployment jobs and all that. You're like, yeah, because people are working 2 or 3 more jobs. But that's not what you say. This is what you say. You say, no. Jobs, he hasn't done anything good for the economy. But then they're seeing a stat in which the economy is doing good. And instead of combating the stat, you combat, no, it's wrong because of Trump. He's stupid. Or the economy's not better. I'm so poor. Some bullshit like that. So I mean,
you can explain the stat. They're still going to argue that you're wrong about that.
That's true too. That's there too. But I'm talking about the majority. If you can just get the majority of people, instead of getting deranged with he's not successful, because that's the majority, it falls flat against this whole majority who is, just stroke into racism. Like they're going to be stuck there. And then when you say something that's genuinely not true, because it is not true, when you say he's not successful, he is. I mean, it's not a success. I'm like, yeah, fuck, if I was rich, shit, yeah, I guess I would be. But I'm just saying it's not like a success in comparison to, say, Steve Jobs, who also, did the same fucking thing, But he's not president. He's just,
yeah, I don't know about
famous, I don't know. And that's why you can never reach these fucks, because we're just stuck in our anger, and we're not really, and we get too factual, you can't understand simple things. They're not going to, this is easy. Saudi Arabia is one of those countries and he didn't ban them. So why are you all about him? But no, we're going to stick to, he's racist against Islams, Muslims.
Yeah. That's not a hill I'd want to die on,
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's not where I want. I would point out campaign finance violations, him paying off porn stars.
But that exists though. That exists. That's a thing, not just to him, to other people. It's just that he doesn't care as much, and the other people who are probably doing the same thing are like, I don't care if he don't care, and so you're never going to reach those people. And like, I was
just surprised that the voters didn't care.
Well, he was speaking to those states that are entrenched in this whole Republican state, those swing states. He talked to them. He's like, coal mining, let's bring it back,
You are right. What they should be talking about is, okay, let's accept all the things that he wanted to do as things that he wanted to do and the country asked for him to do it. He hasn't come through on almost everything.
I agree.
Those jobs, he wasn't able to bring them back.
I agree. You're right. Yes, there you go. That's how you do it.
Yeah,
Not he's not successful. Or here's another one where they say he's sexist, and you know what? He probably is. However, when you use your example of grab him by the pussy, it's like he's in a locker room, and it's obviously a joke when he says, "Well, I could do this." The other person, I could do this. And he goes, "Man, bitch, I could get so rich, man. I could walk up to a room and just grab her by the pussy." I mean, he's literally just saying something off of somebody else saying something. You know what I mean? Like, as if there's a context to what he said. So when people hear this on the Republican side, they're like, "What the fuck? He's not racist," or he doesn't. You're taking it out of context. And then the left, they go crazy and they're like, "No, he's fucking sexist. He hates women. 20 years ago, he said this." You know, so obviously it's true. And it's like, if you really did understand the context of what was going on, I mean, everybody talks like that. Not like that particular thing.
Right.
But he's worked. It's not like he just came up with it, sitting out eating his fucking KFC, drinking his fucking Diet Coke, and saying, "You know what? Grab him by the pussy."
I wouldn't want my president saying that, you know.
But there's probably another president who got caught saying the same fucking shit.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But that's the thing. So here you got these Republicans. Some of them ain't that bright. Most of them are just like, you know, listening to this shit, and they just go by their gut feelings, just like the left. Everyone's just going by their gut. And here you got, I know it. Like, say I'm a Republican. I know he didn't mean it like that. And so when you try to argue with me, you're just, I don't know, ranting.
I think a lot of it was a big chunk of the vote was basically they just kind of wanted to stick it to Democrats, you know.
Oh yeah, after Obama and people were still poor.
Yeah, and you know the whole political correctness, you know, movement. I think
it feels like it got way worse. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Like I said, yin yang, right? You get the one extreme and the other one has to get stronger to counterbalance it.
I really don't think Obama was the extreme version.
No. I'm not saying Obama. It was just
left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think he's extreme left. In fact, I felt like he was like here's center, kind of left, and maybe a little further, but like he didn't go too far out. Like he wasn't like
I don't. Yeah, no, he was.
My women were my girls were transgenders. Yeah, I just know that.
No. I'm not saying he was, but I'm just saying. You know, Trump kind of tapped into that whole idea and kind of helped create it, along with Roger Ailes and them, helped to create this whole narrative of, you know, America used to be something and it's not that same thing anymore, and it's because of those people right there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and basically, I mean, it's the same shit that Hitler did. You know, hey, you know where the country's fucked up? Jewish people. You
know what, though? I mean, when you make the comparison to Hitler, it's such a fucking extreme, though. And then,
it is.
And then Republicans, they see
we're not
that.
At that level yet, but it's it's an extreme example of somebody, you know, trying to create an issue out of a non-issue, trying to create a villain where there was no villain. There wasn't even a need for a villain. It was just, hey, there's this overall problem that we have in society, and let's try to come together to fix it. No. It's their fucking fault, so follow me, and I'll help you defeat those people.
That's classic.
It is pretty classic. I mean,
yeah.
It was even in an American President. Michael Douglas kind of gives this whole speech. And says, you know, he says, hey, you bring up it's almost prophetic. He says, you know, you have somebody and you know, you're talking to people that remember, you know, a nicer time, you know, a better time, better days, and you talk about, you know, family values, and then you say that, you know, all that's gone away, and, you know, that's them over there. That's the reason why. So instead of presenting real solutions, all you're just doing is creating an enemy and then tearing the enemy down. And, you know, people always said Trump always needs a foil. You know, Trump is always at his best when he has a foil, when he has somebody to fight against. And I think he's really good at propping somebody up as an enemy and then fighting. He did it with Obama before he even started running for office, you know, by talking about his birth certificate.
You sounded like a lunatic then. You know what I mean? And then, like,
I don't think that was racist. I think it was just him kind of tapping into a racism that exists in the country.
And he got a lot of good feedback. It was such a weird thing when that happened. When he was like, I actually saw people giving into that in that not on the right, but more on the left in the sense of, you know, here's a picture of his birth certificate. Here's this, here's that. And I was just like, but why? But why are we trying? It's like as if Donald Trump, Donald Trump said, you know what, Obama's an alien, and
people believed it.
No, not that part. The other side. Like if I told you that you're an alien, do you even like?
Why did the Democrats even entertain?
Why did anybody like it was obvious. It was like, who cares about, like, you're telling me that you're telling me CIA and all these fucking people can't figure this shit out? Like, I mean, it's like, you can't fake them out, you know? And like, you know, you turn it into a thing where like, no, he's obviously fucking from America. I didn't need that. And then the fact that you gave into that means that there's another side of this. There's an opposite end that's actually calling for this birth certificate. If you know what you do with absurd things, you don't pay attention to it, you know? And then that's what they did. And I think you're right.
I think they did try to ignore it though, but after a while it just became too loud.
No.
And
no, they shouldn't have even fucking addressed it. Just let it go. Because that's what he does. He doesn't give a fuck. And he wins this way.
He's really good at that.
No, but that's the thing, though. That's how he wins. He just doesn't, even if it's a true thing, I don't care. And then it goes away.
His strength is that he can read a room. The dude can definitely read a room. He definitely knows how to get the pulse of whoever he's talking to really fast.
Oh, yeah.
And that kind of comes from him being able to trick people into thinking, you know, that he was going to help them when really he was just out to help himself.
Yeah. I don't know why he's doing it, though, because he was already rich. I mean, it was a big ego thing. I could see him going, you know, becoming president, and like, say he's president, he's like, fuck, this sucks. And then, like, he's going again. I was like, fuck, why?
He's made a lot of money on them. Well, right now, you know why he's running again? Well, why he has to win, really.
He will win. We talk about it, like, he will win. It's ridiculous to think he won't, unless he just, you know what? I can just see him being like, just when they nominate him president, he'd be like, you know what?
He's trying to outlast all the criminal charges that'll be brought against him after he's voted out.
There's not a fucking thing that's going to happen to him. Bush
so
if Bush goes to certain parts of the world, he will be tried for crimes against humanity. That will never happen. In fact, Ellen DeGeneres is like, hey, yeah, Bush, my homie. I mean, you're talking about this guy who takes Afghanistan and then says, let's go to Iraq. You know, because why?
Yeah.
I don't know, weapons of mass destruction. Just some and like at the time you heard people, oh yeah, because there's fucking terrorists there. I'm like, wait, those are two different. They're far apart from each other, and then that's a thing. And Shark's not gonna go to prison. I mean, the fuck, are you kidding me? He doesn't have anything that's concrete.
I wouldn't want to see it because that'd be really embarrassing, you know, as an American to find out that your damn president's in prison.
He will not go to prison. No charges will be. I mean, in a world where Casey Anthony fucking kills her kids, the way she gets off is because the jury was like, well, we couldn't actually see her do it, so she didn't do it. And I'm like, with all this evidence, like, yeah, but you don't have evidence to actually, like, a videotape of her actually fucking strangling these fucking kids. So therefore, you know, I mean, in this world, that guy doesn't have enough evidence. I mean, Casey Anthony was like dead to rights, but this fucking guy, he doesn't even have a tenth of her evidence. There's no way.
I don't know, man. That'll be interesting to see what happens, but
shit, I'll predict. Hey, call me
president. Pretty much guarantees that nothing's going to happen to him.
Nostradamus right here is telling you he will be president again. Landslide. Biden's going to be the primary for some unknown fucking reason. That's, you know what? I actually was wishing for this, though, because it's going to be fucking hilarious. I mean, can you imagine that fucking old man fucking just fucking up? Like, this, you know what? You're a dog face. And then Trump will like, you know what? Fuck you.
You're a pony
face, pale face bitch. I don't know. Like, I get to see Trump saying, hey, look, fuck you. And then he'll get mad. Like, literally get mad and be like, yeah, because he did that. He got mad with that one guy, and he goes, you want to take this outside? And I was like, wait, what? That's in the video. In the 15-minute video, he says, do you want to take this outside? Like, if this fucking 75-year-old man or whatever, I forgot how old he is, he's gonna go fight a mechanic, because this guy's a mechanic. I mean, I don't know about you, but you
Yeah,
75.
I got throwing wrenches around. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's gonna fucking wrench his face off. You know, like I mean, you want to take this outside and like what? Okay, the more money I get, the less angry I get. Yeah, I'm just saying. It's a reality. That's a real. Did you know they did a study? The more money you have, the less angry you get. I mean, like this guy has money. I mean, he's not. This guy isn't worried about coronavirus. He can eat Chinese food. How about that? You know, and he won't die. But he got angry at this one guy who just said some shit.
Yeah,
you know, and take it out to fight. When's the last time you fought? You're fucking what, 30 fucking 7? When's the last time you fought somebody? I mean, like, is that a thing? When does that escalate? And I've argued with a lot of people. Never once I was like, you know what? Let's fucking fight. Take it outside.
Whoever can kick the other's ass is right.
Yeah. What the fuck was he thinking? So I could just see them arguing, and Trump just comes out of nowhere. You know what? Fuck you, child molester. Just say this because you know, like when he called that one guy the Zodiac killer. You know, like I've heard theories he's the Zodiac killer. I mean, like that was ridiculous, but it fucking stuck and got him out. I could see Trump saying he'll take one of those memes that he always does. You hear him talking about, you hear Biden saying something about breathing on people or shit. You know, he goes, "Why don't you breathe on another 5-year-old, you fucking pedophiler?" And then Biden's gonna be like, "You know, fuck you." Nah, he takes his shirt off, you know.
I think Trump is gonna have to. Well, I mean, sorry, Biden's gonna have to keep his cool. Biden's got to come back measured. Biden can't get loud. You can't. They keep saying, you know, we need a fighter in there. We need to. You don't. You really don't.
If you need a fighter, you get Bernie. Bernie's a fighter. He's been saying the same bullshit forever. I don't agree with it, but he's been saying consistent bullshit. I mean, he like, okay, so they're like, we need $1 trillion for the stimulus. Homeboy says we need 2. I mean, like, okay, Bernie. And you know what, though? Guess what?
It ended up being 2. Yeah.
Ain't that some shit? Let's change subjects. Check this out. So I saw math broken down. If you give, 160 million people, that's, you know, the working age of most Americans, right? $6,000, you know, you'd save $1 trillion. And
I haven't looked at the numbers on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you just do the math of like, was it $6,000 times fucking 160 million? It's less than 2 trillion. They would have had money left.
That whole fight between the Republicans and the Democrats over that stimulus package. Both sides were fucking up. You know, I'm Democrat. Agree. You know,
I agree.
But the Democrats fucked up by trying to put extra shit in there, and the Republicans fucked up by trying to put extra shit in there too.
I know they were trying to give money to like a lot of corporations, and then the Democrats were like, "Solar panels, bro, solar panels." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, and emissions. I'm like, that doesn't help us right now.
Yeah,
you guys need to push this out now. They ended up taking a week longer than they needed to, and it's just going to slow everything else down. The one thing that I was kind of glad that they were fighting for, the Democrats were fighting for, was to be able to report on who was getting the $500 billion, because they were putting aside $500 billion, and they said, okay, we're not going to say who gets this money for 6 months. That's what was in the original bill. And the Democrats are saying, no, we need transparency. We need to know who's getting this money. We need to know sooner than 6 months later. So now it's Congress knows within a week, and then the people know within 2 weeks.
That's cool.
So
I like it.
Yeah, but they had to fight to get that because the Republicans didn't want that. I don't know. The Democrats trying to put in some green shit in there. I wasn't for that.
And like I didn't like the Republicans throwing in fucking like, oh, these corporations should get this money, and it's just basically a bailout without like a loan or something like that. But I like what happened at the end. It was like you could get the money if you keep your people there. Right.
It's a loan unless if you end up using that for payroll. If you use it for payroll, then it's a grant. Yeah, I was cool with that. I was also cool with they wrote it in a way so that the cruise lines can't get money from the government. the cruise lines don't pay taxes to the U.S. They're all incorporated.
Oh wow!
And offshore.
I did not know that.
The cruise lines are all their flags all fly out of Panama and other countries and shit to avoid paying taxes to the U.S. So from the beginning I was like, no, fuck them, and there were a lot of people were like, well, what about the people that work in the cruise industry? Well, a lot of them come from overseas too. The American ones, shit, dude, they're gonna get that one check, but this time they found a job that pays taxes to the U.S. If they're gonna be trying to claim U.S. money too, they want help from the U.S.
What do you think about all this shit, man? Like, I mean, you look outside, man. Fucking places are closing down, and those are people who work.
It's rough, man. I've only been going out to grab food. I went to Target, to grab some protein bars and a gallon of milk. And I only bought what I needed. I mean, I could afford to hoard buy. I'm getting paid the same thing I've gotten paid before, all the way through the end of June. I mean, I'm not hurting.
Hoarding is such a bullshit move.
That's so
right
stupid.
Now? Yeah,
it's so stupid because you're buying stuff, and the system is set up to bring in enough for people when they're using normal amounts of shit.
Mm-hmm.
That system hasn't really stopped. If anything, it's ramped up. The one thing I'm cool with, but man, it's kind of scary. Trump lifted the restrictions on how much time the truck drivers can be behind the wheel. Now that was put into place, to protect the truck drivers, and
like Walmart and shit, running over people,
falling asleep at the wheel,
Yeah.
But hey, they pull the restrictions on them. That way they can go ahead and drive as much as they can to deliver everything. I hope, that nothing bad happens because of that.
Yeah,
and that they reinstate afterwards. But
my thoughts on hoarding is like, I mean, if we're at a point where there's no more food, I think you're more worried about the rioting. Like if you have no food, you're not going to be like, oh shit, man, I need a Snickers bar. You're like, oh shit, this guy's breaking into my house to get food. I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm saying that if you're in a situation where you need toilet paper and you just ran out, I think people are breaking into your house to kill you.
Dude, I have my hallway has a door, and then it opens in, but it also has a chain on the inside. So I have the outside door locked, the inside door locked, my front door double locked, and then I sleep next to my sword, man, because I don't have a gun. No,
what? Gun sales went up in liberal areas. Yeah.
Well, everywhere, dude. I believe they went up everywhere.
That's a smart thing, though. I mean, like seriously, like if you're worried about groceries, you should be worried about groceries. You should be worried about people breaking in your house to kill you.
That's what I'm worried about.
That's the reality of what happens when you're out of food. I think it's so. I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm just saying that if you're worried about one, it's like my dad. He's worried about the banks like losing his money. Like if he puts money in the bank. Like, I'm like, if the bank he goes, what happens if the electricity shuts down, all the banks are done? I'm like, if the electricity shuts down, all the banks are done, people are killing you for food. Yeah. I mean,
I'd be more worried about, you're right. I'd be more worried about that.
Yeah, so this is stupid thinking, too. And seeing all these businesses close down is fucking crazy, dude. Like, I've never seen that. I'm 38.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I mean, I'm not even going to get a haircut. I usually get a haircut every 3 weeks. Every 2 weeks.
I want a haircut. I want a haircut so bad, and then they're all done. I was like,
yeah, I'm 3 weeks into this haircut.
Wow. Michigan, they ain't like that long hair. Tell you what.
Just tie it back.
Yeah, you sissy boy. You're brown too. Oh shit, man. Yeah, it's pretty crazy though. People are getting real radicalized in the way they think. And the more times they're stressed, the more worse it gets. It's like, I don't know, man. I hear some of these Trump supporters. Fuck, man, this is just fucking crazy. You're going too far.
People start getting upset, and they need something to vent their anger at, and they're getting targets. They're being fed targets, and that's easier than giving people what they need because resources are limited. And I think Trump took way too long to go ahead and activate the DPA, the Defense Production Act.
I mean, that, you know what, hindsight's 2020. Like, it's not like
no, everybody was telling him to do it. Everybody was telling him for a long time. Everybody was telling him, you need to start telling people to start making masks now. And ventilators and stuff.
I highly doubt. I fucking highly doubt Trump is a king. I mean, that's not how our government's structured. He's an executive branch that enforces shit. He should have, if anything, they would have told him this, and he would have been like, okay. I don't think it was just one man who was like,
he wants to use emergency powers for the things that he got voted for, like building the wall by pulling defense funding to fund the wall.
No, that's what a president does. They enforce their mandate. That's what they have to do. This is different because it's like he's got advisors probably telling him both sides of it, and he's like, you know what? You say it's like
no. He's
not the 1,000% king. He's not a king.
He's got advisors telling him the scientific side and the medical side, and then he's got advisors telling him the optics side. The damage control side.
I agree. But I have to say, the same advice, everything he has. If any other president's there, it's the same fucking thing, and it's not just him making the decision. It's just not him. That's not how the government's structured. It isn't. Sorry, he's not a king. What we should have done is
but he can actually assign people to jobs.
I agree. That's the real power right there. Yeah,
and not push everything back. They just found out that the White House actually had a game plan, but since it was
in 2018,
they've had it that long.
Yeah.
They ignored it.
It
was just like, come on, man, what do you want? I mean, all these people that know about this stuff went into trying to create solutions for it and a plan for it. Totally ignored it. Turns out all of the stuff that was in there should have been done. And
woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's still, I wouldn't say it's a thing in which we were like, oh, you know what? No one fucking knew. Nobody knew. Now, I mean, yes, you're right. Some people did know, and then they became true.
Okay.
But you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
You're right. Nobody knew because nobody knows, right?
Exactly.
But you got to be prepared for a worst case scenario.
Oh, but you say that, but then, okay, you got Space Force, right? Everyone's like, fuck that, it's fucking stupid. You're stupid. If a fucking asteroid hits, we're going to have a real fucking problem, I mean, this is not like a fake thing. It's a real thing that's happened. Now, a pandemic has happened. Those asteroids and stuff like that. So when he does do something and everyone's like, what, fuck this, I get it. Sometimes you make a good call, sometimes you make a bad call. I thought Space Force was a good thing. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson, an astrophysicist, thought it was a great idea. And you know why? It makes sense, right? Why not exploit space? There's asteroids out there with minerals. You can just do whatever the fuck you want with them.
I think Space Force, it's called NASA. You're just militarizing it.
But that's how we get shit done. When you start militarizing things and start making it it's a joke that I say. My kid's like, I want to be an astronaut when I grow up. And I'm all, you know what? You probably will be, but not in the way you think. An astronaut is glorious, right? Imagine mining a fucking asteroid, and that's your 9-to-5 job, and you're getting minimum wage for it. And here you are living the fucking dream because
total recall.
Because space travel
They're living on Mars.
Yeah,
it's like, you get to live on Mars. Yeah, but I'm a fucking miner.
Yeah. And it's like, it's such a freaking awesome thing, but then it becomes so frequent. Like flying in a plane is pretty cool, right? But not really. Now it sucks. You're in fucking commercial class. But like, go back 200 years, fly in a fucking plane. Oh my God, it's glorious. Yeah. I mean, like, he comes up with Space Force. That's not a bad idea, but people criticize his ass. And here you got pandemic, right? That's a real thing too. And he's just like, you know what? I mean, fuck, let's try to save some money, do this fucking election. And this shit happened the way it did. It sucks. It happened. Oh man, that sucks. But he couldn't have known. Any president could have fucked up. They could have done a million different things. The wall's not built.
Yeah, any president could have fucked up, but it seems like just
or
this president
succeeded
is more inclined to fuck up.
That's what you think.
There's some bets that are better than others.
I agree with you.
all bets can lose, but there are some bets that are more sure to lose than others.
Yeah, a pandemic could take us out. So can an asteroid. I mean, that's not fake. I mean, like, it's not like it happened, but oh wait, it did. And that's like the one thing you don't recover from, you know? Then it'll be what? The roaches? They'll be the new people. They'll be having the podcast. I mean, like, a pandemic could take us out too. I mean, shit, like, all these things could take us out. A war against China could take us out, you know? So when he starts doing the thing where, like, Chinese flu, blah, 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 man, maybe he's setting it up like that. You don't know. You just don't know until you know. And then, like, to go backwards, see, that's where shit goes south, is because we became more polarized. Like, well, he fucked up, and some other person goes, well, no, he didn't fuck up. We need to move forward, not backward, forward.
Right.
And that's where we're at. We're just keep going back. Like, oh, he fucked up. He didn't fuck up. Who fucking cares? You know, pandemic's here.
Well, that's right. Okay, going forward, let's start getting ready going forward. And,
you know what? That's a weird thing, though, if you think about it. Okay, so World War II happens, right? We got attacked, and then we created this fucking army like no other, and we will never fight that war. We will never fight that war with this
not gonna happen. Yeah,
because nukes, right? But we prepared for it, and then now we're overabundance. Now we can never get rid of it. You can never get rid of the military. It'll never happen. But we'll have it, and then we'll go to other countries, and we'll come up with reasons to be places, but we'll never get rid of it. Pandemic happens, right? I get it. You know, that sucks. Now we're going to go overreact about that, and we're going to have these things that will never go away, and that is why you have a conservative. Because they don't want to put something in place that will never go away and take over, you know, and that's what happens. I mean, the sentiment is there.
Same thing happened after 9/11. I mean, air travel changed. You know, the level of security.
It never went away.
You get into
TSA.
never went away. Never went away.
Exactly.
3-ounce bottles of liquids, you know, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you gotta take off your shoes.
We lost.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, it's a weird thing, but that's why you have conservatives to say, hey, look, if you do this, we can't go back. And they're right. Once you do this, what the fuck can you do? So when you say, oh, we got this pandemic, we should just fucking do, you know, go full bore. Now you have this other organization.
No, I'm not talking.
That could just make unilateral decisions.
I'm talking about like getting rid of the handshake level of change, but you know, creating enough of an infrastructure so we could deal with it. You know.
Well, I agree. I mean, it makes sense what you're saying, but look what they did with the stimulus. It makes sense, right? Give people money because they don't have any money. Keep the economy going. I want solar panels.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know what I mean? Like they come up with these things. So when you say, let's have this thing, pandemic, yes, that makes sense. But then you don't have that. What you have is another fucking authority who can say, you know what? We don't need this kind of people in our country because they'll cause this pandemic because we are the oversight. We are the ones who say this. You know, that's fucking crazy. And so Space Force would have been the same thing. He would have created a Space Force. Nothing would have fucking happened, maybe. And it doesn't do anything. It just sucks up money. I mean, you don't know. You don't know. It's just, I don't know. Like, okay, here's a good one. High school. You know, high school, you had to pay. And then we're like, let's make it free. So people who were working at like 16, they get to work at 18 or 20 or whatever. And then all of a sudden now you got colleges, right? You got to get college. Well, high school, you know, jobs are like, you know what? Fuck it. You know what? We need people with college degrees now. So now that the workforce gets pushed to 22. Now, what's our new thing now? We should pay for college. It should be free. Wait, what? Didn't that not fucking work with high school? But we can't get rid of that. You can't make high school pay. You can't do that again. There's no going back. Now we got college. Now you got people going into the workforce when they're 22, 24, and then, you know, jobs. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna be like, you know what? 4 years is not good enough. We need 6 years. We need 8 years. You know, oh, we'll hire the 8-year guy. Now you got people working at 30, and now a quarter of your life is spent in school. And for what reason? Because you only got 50 years after that.
Well, the problem is, you have service jobs, but then you also have manufacturing jobs that don't require a whole lot of college. But those jobs aren't here anymore.
Exactly.
You know? The coal mining jobs. Yeah. I mean, you got to change that. You got to do something else now.
I agree. Well, you can't say that. You can't take someone who's been doing something for 60 fucking years and say, you know what, learn to code. You can't do that.
Well, maybe not learn to code, but
there's nothing for that guy. That guy or girl Equality, right? Because girls want equality, right? They work in those mines too.
Industry. You can't expand the industry. In other words, you shouldn't be hiring more people to a job that's not going to be needed 15 years from now.
But what do you do with what do you do with those people?
Well, the people at the top need to start figuring out, what's the next step? What's the next resource? Or what's the next, low job?
That's not how America works.
You're right. That's not, the tax laws aren't set up to promote that.
No, there's no incentive. I mean, like, there's no incentive.
You're right. There's no incentive. You're right. There's no incentive because it's just cheaper to go ahead and build shit overseas
and let people just die. I mean, you're talking what, 100,000 people? I mean, at 350 million people, 100,000 people die every year. So, I mean, if they all just died, America does not give a shit. If America really gave a shit, it would do something. It doesn't. That's just the way it is. And like when people say, "Yeah, I give a shit," you don't give a shit. You don't care about that person. You didn't even know who that person was.
I've been locked in my house, dude. If I didn't give a shit, I'd be out doing stuff. But that's just me. That's anecdotal. That's just me. But
no, there's just levels. Like, we're supposed to be in small communities. Think about it. Like, if you're in a small community, you care about the people around you. You don't give a shit about Nuba in Africa. I mean, there's like 1 billion people from here to there.
We can't afford to.
Yeah, mentally you can't. So like what I'm saying is America's not designed that way. America's designed for the weak to be crushed and the strong to survive. And then what happens is we get confused by that. We're like, you know what? Life's good for me. Let me help others.
Yeah, because when I was in college, we're all fresh-faced liberal studies majors. We had this history professor, and he was like, "Hey, who here would want everybody to have equal access to education and food and stuff like that?" And we all raised our hands. They go, "Okay, who here would give up 90% of their stuff?" And we're just looking at each other like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "No, 90% of your food, 90% of your living space, 90% of your time in front of your TV or in front of electronics, 90% of just your material possessions, 90% of your clothes. Who would be willing to give up 90% of all their stuff?" None of us raised our hands. We said that's because, that's what would have to happen if we really wanted to be fair all over the world. We're in a country where we're pretty much controlling, a majority of the world's resources. And so if we wanted to be fair with those kids in Africa or whatever, then we have to give up everything.
Yeah, like a cell phone would cost thousands of dollars. Yeah, if you wanted to stop the kids getting their hands cut off, mining that, what was it, cobalt or whatever that rare earth for your battery.
We're using over there, yeah.
Your cell phone's gonna have to cost a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, if you wanted the people building the iPhones in China to make the same as they are here, iPhone would probably cost about $8,000.
Yeah, and it's a funny thing too, because people you always you have your arguments, your left, you got your right, and then you got the people trying to bring it to the center but not really understanding their own values. They'll say something like, "We all want the same thing, right? We want America to do good." The problem is you said that and you think, yeah, obviously, right? But not really. If you want America to do good, in your mind as a Republican, you want a lot of people to suffer. I mean, that's just the way it is. And
as a Democrat or a Republican, it doesn't matter.
Well,
dude.
Yeah, as a Democrat, if you want the world to be a good place, then you want everyone to suffer equally. So it's like it's like either or. The two of you don't want the same thing, and if you do, you're naive. You're just let's just be perfect beings and everything like that. I mean, once we start mining the asteroids and shit and understanding stuff like that, because there's infinite resources out there, but we're so stuck on Earth, we gotta mine. We're still doing the same shit we've been doing for hundreds of years. When we have spaceships that can go on, we literally landed a spaceship onto a comet, I think it was. Mm-hmm. I mean, we could do that with asteroids. It's not hard.
And brought something back from that comet.
I know. It's like we can do it. We have the technology. We don't want to do it. We just rather argue about the same fucking thing. I'll tell you what, if we start mining asteroids and you get them African kids who are getting their hands cut off to mine gold and shit, whatever the fuck, they're not going to be doing that anymore. It costs a lot of money to go to space. They're not going to do that shit anymore. So you save them, kind of, right? Then they're gonna have to find a new way to slave them out. It's a weird thing, right? Because Africa's weird like that, right? Like there's parts of Africa where you have to kill lions. You have to have a hunter to kill a lion, so he pays the village money. If that hunter isn't there paying them to kill that lion and wearing it as a ski mask or whatever, those villagers die because they ain't got water. You let them go, they're killing elephants. You're like,
it's part of their economy. Yep, it's part of their economy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a weird thing, And here we are, mind the fucking asteroid. That's what I said. Space Wars. That's what I say. Oh, what was another thing I was gonna say? College, racism, Democrats. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Water.
I've been drinking a shit ton of water. I almost drank a gallon of water already.
Oh, fuck.
That's how you keep. That's how you stay lubricated for these ideas. Oh, there you go.
Coronavirus vaccine.
I saw you writing on that, and I thought you were writing your name.
Yeah, because there's all these people in my place, trying to take my shit.
Well, I was silently judging you. I was thinking to myself, man, he's kind of weird for writing his name on his own. This is a weird thing to do. And then you came up with the joke. It's pretty good.
Not a very good one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we're fizzling out. I mean, I don't want to ever stop talking, but I think we should put a pause on it, and then come back with more thoughts. Like write down some things, and then we'll just, I thought you had watched a lot more shit, but you didn't.
No,
yeah, I thought.
Have you played Witcher?
Nah, I can't play these games where you're a character and you live life.
It is fucking long.
Yeah, I mean, like I used to when you only had the one game and that would last you a year. Now they got games coming out all the time. I'm overwhelmed.
Well, I'm trying to finish this game before Final Fantasy VII comes out.
I know, right? That comes out April? No, wait, no.
The 10th, man. Next week.
Yeah. Really, huh? Ooh. You played it? Did you play the demo?
I played the demo. I liked it.
Oh, let's talk about that. What did you think of it?
I liked it. I liked the new the action system. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I like how they pause and they're kind of moving slowly.
Yes.
And then they do a move, and I was like, that's cool. That's cool.
It felt like I was watching, playing an anime. The voice acting, I guess, are they trying to be campy?
What you mean with Barrett?
With everybody.
Yeah, I guess with the flirting with between Cloud and the other lady.
Yeah. The voice acting, but whatever. Animes usually have bad dubs, so. Okay.
Maybe they'll have a Japanese option.
That would be cool. I would totally play that game in Japanese.
Yeah, it's funny, Barrett, the way he is. I was like, this guy's ridiculous. But then, I remember, 'cause I played the game a lot. Barrett was ridiculous.
All right. I didn't play 7.
So well, that's a rough go because, in my head, I'm thinking, I knew how Barrett was. So when you see him act like that in real life, you're like, if I hadn't played 7 beginning and I saw this character, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
No, but I
such an idiot.
But I've seen enough anime to kind of understand the I don't know if I'm using this word right, the trope, the archetype, I guess.
Of a black guy?
No, the archetype.
I know of a black guy. No, because that character doesn't exist.
Of a big character, kind of like Mr. Satan in
Not
Dragon Ball.
that. Not like that, dude. This guy picks a fight with Cloud over nothing. Several times over
Mr.
nothing.
Satan's kind of like just a big old, loud character too. That's kind of what I picked up Barrett as. And yeah, being a jerk.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but play it again, man. The guy's dumb. It just doesn't make sense. And I'm like,
yeah, he's dumb. He's dumb.
What was the plan here? You just gonna go and put a bomb on a reactor? Hope for the best. I mean, that was pretty stupid. And then it's funny too. What gets lost on people is the president, that last scene. I know in my head because I played the game. I know where the story's going, but the way the scene comes out, right? Everything starts blowing up and shit. Spoiler if you haven't played the game, but everything starts blowing up because it's the president. He's the one who did it. And I'm like, that's not really well done. You know what I mean? Like, but it's a demo, so who knows?
We'll see what happens. But I like the action. I thought that was fun. Yeah, no, I'm interested. And the game just looks amazing. The sound design was really good too.
But it's like
the music was
first
good.
disc. Like it's the first disc of a game that like you can beat in 20 hours. But I'm just saying, just say you're taking your time. Because there was 3 discs. And the third disc was the longest because it had all the end game content. But that first disc is actually pretty short. And they made this game, they say it 100 hours. I'm like, wait, what? This game, that's 1 disc, you made 100+ hours. That means that, to me, you stretched out some things that shouldn't have been stretched out. There are parts that need to be stretched out.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Hopefully it doesn't end up like The Hobbit, where they take 1 book and stretch it into 3.
That's what they're going to do, though. They even said that.
But maybe they'll do it right. I don't know.
No, when you say 100+, because you never played Final Fantasy 15, they made that game long for no reason. None at all. Like, you're doing missions, like you're finding a chocobo, you're fishing, you're driving a car in circles. I mean, like, it's really like it's cool for novelty to do some of these missions, but 100+ hours, you ain't fucking playing this game for 100+ hours. And this is just the first fucking game of a disc. The second disc has a lot of shit. I could see you making the second disc that long because you're going into water, you're going to the desert, you're going in the snow, you're going into a village. I mean, a lot of shit happens. You even get an airship. I mean, you go to space. I mean, fuck, it is long. And then the third disc is pretty long, but it's like, that's where you get that first disc extra like, it's like, it didn't need to be that long. But that second disc, Lord Jesus, man, it would be weird that you made this one 100 hours and the second one, it should be 200 hours. There is a lot of content. A lot.
We'll see what they do with it, man. I don't know. I'm interested in seeing it. I want to play it when it comes out, because I know you guys will be playing it too, and I kind of want to be.
I'll be there. I'm a fan, dude. I bought all the fucking Final Fantasy 15. And what they did is purposely made it longer than it should have. And they created 4 DLCs and then finished it in a book because they ran out of money. Nobody wanted to play their fucking game. So they ended the goddamn game in a book because they didn't know what to do. They didn't even understand their own story. And the other parts of the disc were just extra little things that shouldn't have cost $20. So, I mean, I've done this before. So when they tell you that they're going to make 3 games and they stretched out that first disc to 100 hours, I mean, at best you can expand it 10.
Well, even if the story only took 40 hours, I think about the rate of return. I buy the 4K movies at like $25, and it's 2 hours.
But you're gonna watch it again.
But you're gonna watch it again. But let's say I watch it 10 times.
That's a lot.
That's still 20 hours.
That's good.
You're still getting more bang for your buck, or about the same bang for your buck. That's if you watch a movie 10 times.
But for a movie, so you're talking about a game. So you're only gonna play 40 hours. You're not playing 100 hours of this game. By the time you get to 100 hours of this game, the second disc came out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Let's say the game only took 40 hours to beat.
And you pay 60.
And you paid 60. So let's say you watch the movie. That'd be like if you paid $60 for a movie, then you'd have to watch it 40 times to get the same. Who's gonna watch a movie 40 times?
You're only okay. You're proving my point with your analogy, your dumb analogy. I watch a movie 2 hours, I'm done with it. And if I watch it 10 times, I've completed my cycle 10 times, and only for $25. This is a $60 game that you will barely beat to get to the second game. Not even scratching at the surface to get 100. You're not. You are not going to get 100 hours in this game. You're just not. Because other games are going to come out. You're going to play those.
I'm just saying I don't need to get 100 hours.
No, I know that. But you're getting $60 to play a game, and you will have to probably burn through a lot of it. You'll get like 40 hours. It's $60. It's 40 hours. And then the second game comes out, another $60. You'll probably only play 40 hours that game. You see, the payback.
You're saying only 40 hours like it's a bad thing.
But you never finished it. At least with the movie, you finished it.
Oh, I see what you're getting. No.
Hey,
I'm saying
you're gonna play it again.
Even if I only got 40 hours, let's say it only ended up being a 40-hour game.
Okay.
If it ended up being 100 hours, awesome.
But you're only gonna play 40 hours of it. It's like if I watched a movie, I only watched 1 hour of it.
No, but what I'm saying is, no. I'm just saying. I was just trying to make the numbers easy. No, if it ends up being 100 hours, shit, I'll play it for 100 hours.
You won't.
How do you know that?
You watch a movie, you're gonna fish it, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna watch 1 hour of it.
Okay.
To warrant the price of $25, you're gonna watch it at least once or twice.
Yes.
And you're gonna finish it twice.
Okay.
This game, you're not gonna finish more than once.
I think you're looking at this game as like as if it's a job to play it.
No, I'm talking about the ripoff of money. Like,
no, I'm talking about how many hours of entertainment do you get from the game versus a movie.
well, you finish it though. That's the thing. That entertainment is the beginning, middle, and end, and then there's a completion, and then there's a sequel. Guess what?
Well, same thing with movies. I mean, movies, sometimes there's a part 1, a part 2, a part 3, a part 4.
Well, you're finishing them, but you're finishing them.
We just watched 20 movies called the Marvel, the Marvel
and it
universe.
paid, and it paid you back, and it didn't. It paid you back, and it didn't try to stretch money out of you. This is a purposeful thing that they did. They did this with Final Fantasy 15. They made an incomplete game for $60 that not many people completed. But when you did complete it, there was all this other extra shit that you needed to do.
But the thing is that the cost of developing a game has gone up, and it's not like an inflation.
I agree.
It costs more to develop a game now. Games now, they rival movies, and it's like you're not creating a 2-hour movie, you're creating a 100-hour movie, and it's got to be interactive and shot from all angles. So
you played that mushroom game, right? With Tony and them, right? The one that game doesn't cost that much to make, and it's worlds of fun. I mean, they didn't have to spend as much money as they did to make this game fun.
Yeah, but that's a whole different experience. I wouldn't want to flex Mushroom Wars on my 75-inch 4K TV. It's about the gameplay for that one.
But okay, you play God of War 4, right?
Yeah.
That's only like 30 hours. I mean,
I haven't beaten it. It was,
but it's 30 games. You will beat that game, and guess what? By the time you beat that game, you could play it again if you wanted to. You're not, and then a sequel comes out, and you pay $60. This game, you'll be lucky to beat this game by the time the second one comes. But I doubt it though. I don't even think the second one's coming out. It's coming out when PlayStation 5 or 6 comes out. The way they make it, yeah. then it'd be worth it because you would play this game for 20 hours, get bored because you're going to play something else. Then you could maybe come back to it. It's kind of hard. How many RPGs have you played? I mean, like, think about it.
I haven't played that many.
I'm telling you, man, these games aren't, they're fun. It looks good. They're a sloth. I mean, you get to like 30 hours in, and it's the same fucking thing over and over and over.
Well, hopefully it's not. I mean, hopefully it's not. Again, you're right. I'm not just going to say any game that makes you play for 100 hours to complete it is an awesome game. But if you enjoy all 100 hours, if it's something that, wow, you know what, that was 100 hours, but shit, I had fun the whole time.
You won't. No. I know. It sounds like I should, kind of flex a little. I've played every Final Fantasy. I'm a fan. But now it's a job to me because I've played them, all of them. I've played 13. You played 13. It's really good. They turned it into 3 games.
Wow.
Unnecessarily.
See, there's do it the right way, there's do it the wrong way. I played Dragon Age, right?
If Final Fantasy's never done it.
Huh?
Final Fantasy's never done it right. Ever.
Really?
Never.
I don't know. I played
Final Fantasy 15 came out. 15. That means there's 15 games. I don't have 15 fingers, but if I go like this, maybe you'll understand. I played all of them, and they've never done it right. They've gotten the game. They're good at making the game beginning to end at one time. But after 10, they don't know what they're doing. They don't. And that's 5 more.
Yeah, I gave up on 10.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was.
And they came out with a 10 too.
But
I played them both.
Dragon Age was a game that I played. I've done 5 playthroughs. I don't know what it is about
Dragon Age 3.
Inquisition.
Yeah.
I think that's the first RPG that I kind of just like threw myself into.
Okay.
That one was awesome. A game that I know me and my brother sunk a lot of time into, Link to the Past.
You're talking about back in the day. You're different now. You're a different human being than you were when Link to the Past came out. You're an older person who has no time to watch fucking movies. So let alone a game that you have not committed yourself. This game isn't made for you, Deborah. I'm the one who be buying these games. I've played Final Fantasy 13 1, 2, and 3. I've played Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2. I've played the Game Boy games. I'm telling you, this game wasn't made for you. It was made for me. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be that good. I mean, I'm going to buy it. I am going to buy it. I can guarantee I will beat it before you. I can guarantee I will know more about that game than you will. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to enjoy it as much as you. Because I know that within 10 hours, the novelty of the remake will be over.
Hey, Maverick.
Oh, yeah, Top Gun.
Is it coming out on time still, or
Tom Cruise, Scientology? It's Tom Cruise, man.
So you think the Scientologists is gonna be able to turn off coronavirus by then?
Fucking, they'll sue the fucking virus.
Shit, man.
Oh, dude, you're right, dude. You're right. That movie ain't coming out. That's an IMAX movie.
Yes,
that's a 4DX IMAX Omega. You should be seeing that shit on the moon. That's the movie to watch, and it's not coming. Oh wow, dude! Wow, they really should push that to next year.
No, fucking bitch.
Well, okay. Released in theater?
Yes.
Or not in theater?
In theater.
Wait a year.
But no, push it back. Middle of end of June.
The way I've been playing down this fucking thing, I'm telling you right now, it might be fucking India apocalypse. You know, like the least of your worries will be this fucking movie.
No,
I mean,
no, I don't want to die without having watched Maverick.
I know, right? I really think the economy's gonna
5 years old.
The economy's gonna shit itself. Fucking everyone's gonna start killing, raping each other. It's gonna go a fucking apocalypse. Hey, you listen to me now, everybody. The apocalypse is fucking coming because we're worried about a virus as opposed to the economy, which is the real threat. And we're just focused on this virus. I'm telling you. It's going to be that economy. I mean, like when you can't go to 7-Eleven, shit's going to be real.
Yeah, I guess that's the only thing I'm kind of, I guess it's the only good, not good, but I'm going to take advantage of this. The whole housing thing is gonna hit, you know. Prices are gonna drop.
Shit. You know what's weird? They're not dropping because I'm buying a house right now.
No. It's gonna take a year. It's gonna take a year.
I don't even think houses is the worry. I think it's total businesses like Walmart. Oh shit, we can't afford our own rent on our own property. Fuck.
Yeah,
we can't be Walmart. And then the people who work there can't have jobs. Fuck, I can't. If I can't work at Walmart, where the fuck can I work? Oh, I'll be a doctor.
I don't see. I don't see the renters, you know, kicking them off. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a business that's going to come back. It's just going to take a while to come back.
You talk about people who kick people out of houses, like to be the human who kicks a person out of a house because they
not out of humanity. No, not out of humanity. Just out of it'd be a bad business move to move businesses off of your property just because they can't pay rent. I'm talking about big box businesses, not the small mom and pop businesses. They're fucked.
Yeah, they are.
They're not. Yeah, they're going to be hurt. And
Blockbuster went down in an economic awesomeness. If a Blockbuster can go down, Walmart and fucking depression.
That's the same as like the coal industry. You know, it's just a product that wasn't necessary because of streaming and Redbox. No. That's just them not adapting.
Blockbuster did try to adapt. They just didn't go full bore.
They could have went
streaming. But
they were too late.
Yeah, they had the fucking name. They could have made it work. They just didn't.
They should have beat Redbox to the punch is what should have happened.
I agree, but it didn't work out that way. And that's a big company. I could see Walmart trying to fucking work its shit out. Couldn't figure it out. They've been doing the same thing for so long. Boom, they ain't there. Boom, there's no jobs.
Well, I think the big box stores especially, they're gonna start losing out because Amazon You know, everybody's saying, hey, Amazon's kind of, you know,
They're the
pandemic-proof.
they're the Netflix. They're the canary in the coal mine. They're the Netflix. The Walmarts and the Home Depots and all these other stores are just gonna fucking die and because it was so fast. All these people ain't gonna have jobs. Ain't gonna be able to buy food, and people are gonna be throwing. Great Depression. People are gonna be throwing food away just so that they can keep them at the right price, and then like homeless people. I mean, it's just gonna be anarchy, dude. I'm telling you, the fucking people are worried about this virus. You want the fucking world to be cold? Fuck it. There's gonna be a lot of people rioting. If they're not alive, then they're not rioting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's going to be a catalyst for change, definitely.
Yeah, maybe. I think we'll go into another war. That's what we're going to do. That's how we get out of
Get out of this.
You know? Yeah, that's what we do. You got the Great Depression, World War II, boom, out. Back to economic awesomeness. So here we got this, World War III. Hopefully we don't use nukes. Hopefully we just stick to electric warfare.
Drones.
Drones and shit like that. Hopefully the nukes don't come out, because that shit will not be a winnable fight. So I do think that the what's his name, that Pence guy, which is funny. Yeah, he comes out and says, yeah, he goes, yeah, times are gonna get worse. Bitch, you said that 2 weeks ago, and it is getting worse. I don't know why you keep saying it's gonna get worse. That's terrible. And when he says it's gonna get worse, we're still talking about the virus. Really, it's the economy that's gonna fucking eat itself alive, and no one's paying attention to that. All we can talk about is how Trump fucked up, or how Trump is doing great, or how we need more green stuff. You know, like solar panels and shit. That's where we're at. We're not talking about the real threat. The real threat is this fucking economy, and it's gonna be bad. Mark my words.
We could take this opportunity, I guess, to kind of re-gear our economy, you know, especially for 21st century jobs and all that, blah, blah, blah. But it shouldn't have been in that first stimulus package thing. It was too soon.
I agree.
You know, the whole idea of that was to kind of get people to be able to pay their shit, you know, and help businesses stay open. Something like that, like re-engineering the economy, that needs to be deliberated. That needs to be thought out. That needs to be.
It's not. We're run by idiots. Like, think about the colleges, man, with the dorms. You got people from India that are foreign exchange students. They ain't got no money to get back home. They just kicked them out and said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to give you $1,000 credit.
Well, if that, well, I know San Diego State, if they didn't have anywhere to go and they could prove it, they didn't have to go anywhere.
You talk to Adrian?
Well, that's USD. I mean, all those fucking kids are rich.
Well, you say that until somebody got a grant to get there. You know,
few and far between.
But that's a thing. And,
it is a thing.
And that's real. I mean, these 300 people that proved that they could stay, he's now kicking them out. Not him himself, but he has to go to work because he's essential to kick those 300 kids out. And hey, sorry, man, you got $1,000 credit. Can I spend a credit? No.
Damn,
Can I buy shoes with that? No. Where am I going to live? Get back to India. Get back to wherever country you came from. I know you're a foreign exchange student. Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
that's our government. I hadn't heard about that, but yeah.
I talked to Adrian.
That shows how fast this thing is changing. You know, especially they add another 30 days to this. You know, to the quarantine or stay at home order. Yeah, a lot of businesses that were saying, hey, we're going to pay you guys during this coronavirus are thinking, shit, we can't pay for another 30 days.
Yeah, what's real shitty is, okay, you got people not really thinking right, too. You got, say I'm Bob, I own a bar. I can't afford to pay people if I don't have money, and people were like, you should, because you have a bar, you're rich. But Bob's only rich because he has a bar. He lives good. Bob only has a bar. He doesn't have 3 bars. He has 10 bars. So he's supposed to keep paying you. So you have both sides. You got Bob, sucks to be him. He had money. And you had the crew. And the crew ain't got no money. So they blame Bob. You got these colleges, man. They couldn't even fucking figure it out. They just fucked 300 kids. Those are real lives. They fucked them. Our government tacked on fucking solar panels to this fucking thing. that's who's in charge. And so here we are. Here we fucking are. Let's talk about this virus. Hey, man, 100,000 people dead. You would be so lucky if it's just that amount. And that's not just coronavirus. We're talking riots, man. Fucking, I don't have a job. Have you been to Walmart back in the day? That was a terrible fucking place. Those people didn't want to fucking work there. They hate that. They hate their job. They hate their lives. Now they ain't got no job. And Walmart's like the bottom of the barrel. What the fuck are they doing now? What the fuck are they doing now? Well, they're getting together. They're getting rah about something, you know, whether it be Trump or whoever the Biden. I don't know what the fuck. Who do you hate if you're not hating Trump? They're going to be fucking breaking into houses, man. That's a fucking thing. I know. People are just playing it off, though. They're like, yeah, this fucking virus, yeah. Let's keep talking about the virus, bro. Just, you know, when you don't have a job, you don't have no money, your bills are piling up. Let's keep talking about that. Your next door neighbors. Look outside at your fucking mobile place. Look outside. Those fucking people aren't working.
They're not.
It's only a matter of time before they get fucking hungry.
My neighborhood's full of cars, man. My neighborhood's full of cars.
They see your fucking Porsche. They're coming for you.
That's what I'm worried about.
I mean, if I were you, I would not park that shit there. But that's your modes of transportation. I mean, like, dude, poor people are.
Well, I ain't got anywhere else to park it.
I know, I hear you. But I just say, like, I don't want to call poor people dumb. I was poor, but I get dumb. I mean, like, you get angry quick. You know, you don't get food, you don't get water, you don't get, like, fucking electricity. I mean, shit's real.
I don't think it's dumb. I think it's just part of being human. When you're not getting with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you know, just that one of those deals. You have your needs.
You're right.
And you start getting upset, especially if you see somebody else and they are getting their needs met. You know,
that you think the optics of it. Yeah. Right. You could be starving in your fucking house. I see that you have a Porsche. I'm breaking into your house. I'm taking you. You know, and I mean that's that. And then we just can't stop talking about this virus. Every time I watch the news, I get mad. I watch both ends. And I'm like, hey, we're not really addressing some real shit because people right now we got toilet paper, we got food. Give it a couple of weeks. I mean, like you can't work. You can't have no money. You know.
Well, what happened in Hurricane Katrina 2007? You know,
there was a lot of murder and rape. People you don't even see anymore. And that was the poor people, though. You know, so it makes it all right. And then there was
we're rich. We're smart. You know, we're educated. We're not gonna degrade into bullshit.
Mm-hmm. And then you got these middle class people that just disappeared off the face of the planet. Oh, they must have drowned, huh? Mm-hmm. Bob over there living next door, he was watching you get your Cheetos and shit, and he didn't get water. He came over there and killed you. You know, he's like, I always hated this motherfucker. I mean, that is what is happening. You know, I mean, I don't know. That's what I think about. You know, when I see this whole coronavirus thing, I'm thinking like, great, we're worried about the virus, and yes, pretty bad. Yeah. No money. That's worse. Because if people were robots, I wouldn't care as much. But people are people. And people just, you know, needs aren't met, they go into anarchy.
Well, and that's my argument. I mean, we needed to have used this break to get ready for when we're not on this break anymore, because we can't stay like this. We just can't, you know. And I don't know. Hopefully, we're ready now. I mean, it doesn't look like it.
No, because we were stabbed in the gut. And we started putting Band-Aids around it. We're not ready for the next knife that's going to stab us.
Right.
Because that's where we're at now. We're like, we've been stabbed. Oh, shit, people are dying. More people are going to be dying soon. I mean, It's going to just be like, and like death is like, that's a good thing. You know, like some of these people who try to, like, do you want to survive the apocalypse? I don't. You know, that kind of thing. Like you got The Walking Dead, you know, like, people get raped, fucking eaten and shit, you know, like, I mean, if it gets to a point where we don't have electricity, it only takes 3 days. Hey, if electricity goes down, leave that fucking place. You need to go south.
Yeah. My mom's told me to go down there.
Yeah. Wait, now it's okay. We have electricity. But when the fucking power goes out, I strongly recommend going south, get yourself a tent, and ride this shit out. Because there will be riots like you have never known. You know, I mean, like that's our history has shown us this. So I don't know why we don't look, you know, like it's like if I punch this glass window and turn this way. I'm like, my window's fixed because I have just forgotten my history that just happened. I mean, it wasn't like, I mean, the Earth has been around for millions of years. We can't remember 100 years ago we were rioting. I mean, shit.
Well, hopefully it doesn't get to that.
Well, shit. It's a good thing that most people are religious now. No, shit. Yeah, I guess God's out. That sucks. Good thing they get that face. Good thing they had that Facebook, because back then you had your God. You know, you had God and, you know, morals, values. That's what kept you in line. You know, when shit got rough, you remember Jesus' sacrifice and all that bullshit. That shit went away. Now it got to a point where you can't have God. You can't have crosses on mountains anymore, you know, and, you know, the Muslim faith is the number one faith, you know, and Sharia law, you know. That's my response.
No, you're right. I mean, as far as, you know, people being taught pretty basic values, I mean, that's pretty much what religion does. It teaches you values, because some people, they don't figure it out on their own. They kind of need to be told, you know, this is right and this is wrong.
Who's replaced that? Who's replaced that? Like, before we're looking at Jesus, who's our new anointed one that we're just like, yeah, this guy, he knows what he's talking about.
Trump.
You got that fucking right. That's our anointed one. He's gonna fucking do this. He's gonna fucking do that. Let's hate Chinese people. I mean, that's what we have now. And man, when shit hits the fan, that's what we have inside of us now. Most of us, not you and me, you know, but like most of us are like, Trump.
Well, I mean, it's polarized each side, you know, and I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think I'm still a moderate, but I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's hard.
It's hard to vote for a Republican right now, especially since there's so many that defend Trump, and so it just starts to become like I don't like you because you're pretty much a proxy for somebody else who's just obviously wrong.
Well, Democrats too, man. When they push up Biden, I mean, like it's on both sides.
You're right, and
it sucks, right? It makes you want to vote for your dog.
Yeah, you know, yeah, yep. Luna, you want to run for president?
You know what? She knows her place. She shut it down. She heard Trump's the new president, so she's like, you know what? I better shut the fuck up. That's a dog, everybody. We're not being.
I just realized I haven't heard anything from her.
Oh shit. Just play Man of Steel real loud. Da, 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 da. Hey, shit, did you lose your dog? Do you have the window open?
No, I hear her now.
That could be the rats.
She usually hangs out over here.
I told her to get the fuck out. When you weren't on the phone, I was like, fuck out of here. You fucking rat dog. All right, yeah, we should end this. I gotta do some editing, and I'm gonna post this shit. And I got work tomorrow. It's like 1:30 over here. 1:30 in the morning.
You work tomorrow?
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, like at noon.
Oh, God damn it.
But I gotta do shit for the kid. I gotta make him breakfast and stuff. He still wakes up. But I gotta wake up 6, 7, couple hours from now.
Well, I hope you wake up.
What time is it over there? Was that 9?
It is 10:30.
Damn, dude, we talked a lot. We did 3.5 hours.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, we only recorded 3 hours. That's our longest podcast yet, though, because the other one was like 2.5 hours, longer than Star Wars 9.
Are we trying to go for records now or what?
No, podcasts should be about 3. That's like you stop becoming fake after an hour. You know what I mean? Like when you're having a conversation with somebody, well, we're pretty not fake. But I'm saying when you have a conversation with somebody, you can only have like a facade of who you are before you start really getting this shit. And then like if you like I've seen you were trying not to say the N-word the whole time. You were like, don't say it. Don't say the N-word. Ah! All right, man. Yeah, take care. This is Podcast for me signing out.